All systems nominal.
それでは早速全速前進
You don't know what the weak point of a mech is? The fucking pilot.
Get away from her, you bitch!
His papers say he was a raven.
Protocol 3.
A pattern blue!
Welcome to On the Shoulders of Giants, a giant robot power hour discussing mechs across media, their stories, and why we love them. I'm Nico, and I'm joined by Alice.
Hey, Nico, I was in the cockpit earlier and I found a drawing of you. Well, I think it was you. It kind of looked like you. It had dog ears and a tail. Do you want to talk about that?
Cut her mic. Brian?
Don't worry about what I'm doing behind this shed. I'm behind this shed for this episode.
Hey, just checking back in as a different character. What's up with you behind this shed?
I'm doing something different and equally suspicious behind this shed. Don't worry about it.
Hey, I'm a different character and I'm also checking on you behind the shed. What are you doing back here?
I'm not here now.
What?
He finished packing the bowl.
Yeah.
This time around, I'm once again dining out on being the meat mech person, pun intended, with extreme Meatpunks Forever, bound by Ash. Let's launch into it. Alright, from the top, I'm sorry I sound like garbage. It's because I'm doing a shitty Crypt Keeper impression because it is our Halloween episode.
Ghost!
It's a ghost. Hallowed be thy ween, everyone. I hope everyone's having fun with their personal demons, with their messy situationships, with their flesh.
And their moms.
With your mom.
Just a heads up, this episode also does count as a witch's coven, so you're participating in that now. Just thought you should know, listeners.
Yeah, and a heterosexual marriage if you need one.
Yep.
But I can't guarantee you how well we'll act the part.
OSG Sam Hain Summoning Edition.
Item one at the top. Item one at the top. Y'all go with Brad or Sam for the fake marriage?
Sam, 100%.
No, mine was Brad.
Mine was Brad.
Yeah, Brad's really terrible at it.
Bad at it.
I cannot. I did a couple playthroughs, but I tried to not expose. Well, this game has many different plot lines. Like it is so deep each way you go with it.
It's cooking with gas. So yeah, this game is the sequel to the game that we covered as our episode 7. We're circling back in a timely manner for episode 59.
Oof.
So Powered by Blood, the first installment of this, dropped in 2018. This released in October of 2020. So shoutouts to Heather Flowers for being the only game dev who released a functioning game.
The one.
During that time. Heather Flowers won CD Projekt Red 0.
Yep.
I'm just gonna fire shots in this episode. I'm delirious from illness.
Well, they deserved it. So
yeah, so if you've heard the name Heather Flowers and you haven't played Meatpunk before or listened to our episode, it's probably because you've been hearing about Unfair Flips. That is her game, which just came out, a game about probability and dark patterns. That's technically just about flipping a coin while observed by a figure drinking milk in a bar. So it's kind of psychological horror. Or you're just hanging out with me, a person who would also drink milk and carries a bag of coins. So yeah, we encourage all of our listeners to pick that up on Steam and then circle back to pick this game up on itch. Unlike the first one, it doesn't tend to be bundled. You Powered by Blood, you play that one was in your bundle, and then once you're hooked, you come back and you get Bound by Ash.
Yeah.
And it's worth it. Let me tell you, every dollar is worth it. This game expands on everything that was happening in the first one in just an incredible way.
Yeah, it goes so hard. I also just wanted to shout out real quick, Heather also released on the same day as Unfair Flips, Women Want Me, which is the final DLC expansion pack to Fish Fear Me, which is her
yes, which is also available on Steam. Yes. I picked that up during Steam sale. Please pick up Fish Fear Me.
Yes.
The cover art alone whips. I'm so excited to dig into that one.
What's the most you've ever lost on a coin flip?
Probably the restaurant I wanted to go to, which I can live. Anyway, so I can't be blamed for this. I'm ill. If the bit fails, it's Alice's fault.
True.
Flip it.
So yeah, this game, Bound by Ash, sees the return of Visager, aka Josie Breckner, on soundtrack with a bunch of other featured artists, including a vocalist for a couple of tracks, all new character portraits by Ryan Rose Asai, and chapter/episode splash art by a number of incredible artists. This was a stretch goal on the Kickstarter that funded this game, including beloved guest of the show, Iris J. I was so thrilled when I saw the episode splash art for the Brad Ultra Brad experience, and I went, that art looks sick as hell. And then I hit the continue button, and I was like, oh shit, Iris is here. Iris showed up.
I played this game before my co-host because later we're gonna drop an interview I got to do with Heather, but I like ran to the chat that we have with Iris, and I was like, you know we're gonna stream Meatpunks. I was like,
That's exactly the energy. I popped. It was great. So yeah, a playthrough of season 2, which is episodic. It comes in 6 episodes. They run about 30 minutes each, depending. So a playthrough of season 2 will take you about 3 hours, but your mileage will vary depending on if you do multiple runs, like Alice mentioned.
Yeah.
If you're having to skip fights or anything, it'll change a little bit for you, but there's a lot of story to this, and there's a lot of different mechanics. There's a lot of different content. I think just like lock in for 3 hours minimum, and then just see where that takes you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is the much anticipated sequel to Powered by Blood. There's a planned sequel, which was announced kind of at the end credits of the game. I mean, we're 5 years out from this one dropping, and of course, as mentioned, Heather's worked on other projects during this time. Initially, at the end credits of this game, a third game was announced, Brightfall, but Heather isn't going forward with that one, so it's really, like, spend your time with this one, enjoy your time with this one. This is kind of the end of the Meatpunks story, but I think it's a really good ending. It's got a lot to it. So.
Unless you grab the TTRPG and play out your own stories.
You can, why are you being so lazy expecting Heather to write the third story? How about you write Brightfall, idiot?
Yeah.
Make your own Meatpunk group. Do it.
Let Sam et al. Rest. They deserve it. So obviously, Brian, you mentioned, like, you played this game earlier, you did an interview and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we covered the first game, so we knew about this second game, but what were the vibes heading into playing this next installment? What were y'all feeling?
I was feeling one thing I knew was that RIP co-host way back in the Yonder days, Heather and us had some interactions on co-host because we had released that episode, and
RIP co-host.
And at the time they had said, I'm not sure I agree with Meatpunks being a horror game, and then she said something like, remembers the meat forest in episode 2, and was like, oh, never mind, it totally is a horror game. And like, I had never forgotten that. So when I went into this, I was like, man, the first time someone says meat forest, I better lock in. I'm not really.
I love that because it creates a sense of anticipation, like they're at the fucking blood gas station, and you're like, where's the meat forest? Where is it coming in? Alice?
My relationship with visual and kinetic novels is that I don't like to play them as they're releasing. So I knew this existed, but I was like, if we weren't going to cover it, I was going to wait for the series to wrap to touch it again, because there's just so many visual novels that have like 5 chapters as different games, and it's like, it's not worth jumping in usually if the story's not done. I will say, like, the first one is wrapped up really well. Like, that's a standalone game to me, so I was happy with ending where we ended. Depressed, post-Brightfall, just, dealing with that.
Yeah, I will say, so this game has a very cool function where you can import your save from the first game.
It works
Shout out
so
to when
well,
you could do that.
by the way.
Nice.
Because I was like, do I still have it installed? I did, but it was in, like, some subfolder of some subfolder. And I was like, oh, well, I have to move it or something. You click import, it's like, found it. I know what decisions you made. And I was like, hell yeah, let's go.
Heather runs very fast into your computer and locates your decisions.
For some reason, it didn't work for me. But I will say, in the case that it doesn't work, it also just kind of asks you all the decisions you made, and you can get through it that way.
There's 3 options. You can either import your save, you can do like a short questionnaire about your choices in season 1, or you could say, I don't fucking remember, or I didn't play it. There's a 4th option, which I didn't click, which is just like slide Heather a 20, which I hope just like goes to a fucking Patreon or something. But it was funny because when I booted the game, I tried to just do the questionnaire and I went, I don't remember any of these decisions. So then I went and I re-listened to our episode on it to refresh myself on the story and everything. And I was like, okay, I remember these decisions, but not all of them. So I decided to start from the blank slate just to see kind of how that would be recapped. And I think there's a very effective, very short recap that will like get you where you need to go, which is, it's super good. So that means like, again, obviously we're going to recommend play Powered by Blood first. You own it. Like, I promise you, if you bought a itch bundle about social justice in the last decade, you own this game. But if you don't, for some reason, and you don't feel like going back and playing Powered by Blood, you can actually jump into Bound by Ash.
Also, you're not a gamer if you're not buying the itch.io bundles for any cause ever.
You
because
better
they're
be
so
buying
cheap and you get so many games.
1
I don't even
million
care if you
games.
care about the cause.
I care.
The cost is what's important.
If you're gonna benefit from the bundle, you better lock in on Gaza and racial justice and
you
trans
bought
rights.
Super Robot Wars Y at full $60 price, you can support Palestine.
Yeah, that is the official stance of the OSG podcast.
That is the official stance of the OSG podcast.
All right, y'all. So, what the fuck happened in this season? Now, I did write this pretty
Meat
vague
Forest.
because, the Meat Forest happened. So, just like 2 words, our shortest summary yet, Meat Forest. Now, I keep this pretty vague because on the itch page for this game, Heather also kind of kept the ending vague, and I think for very good reason, so we'll see if I can split the difference there. Immediately following the events of the first game, and I mean immediately, our Meatpunks, Sam, Cass, Brad, and Liana have witnessed a terrible calamity, the obliteration of Hopeful via sun laser.
The sun is a deadly laser. Okay.
And fled with only an ambitious plan by Cass to guide them. They're going to steal the fucking sun.
Hell yeah.
This is easier said than done, however, as carrying on puts them back in Fash territory and sees each Meatpunk struggling with existing personal issues only heightened by their time on the road. As they venture across the Rosarks region, they meet old enemies, new allies, learn more about their pasts and themselves, and redefine how they relate to their mechs, while the game also shows the player a different facet of Meatworld's mech-pilot bond. The journey culminates in a multi-part showdown to not only get the next clues they need to chase the sun, but also to save another town facing its wrath, even if it involves moving literal heaven, earth, and a statistically worrying amount of meat. And with that, we're gonna go to the break.
Hi guys, it's your best friend and the person who cares about you most in the world, so you should probably burn every relationship that isn't with a member of this podcast, Brian. Got some announcements and reminders here for you all. First, as always, this is a podcast where we're talking about a lot of visual subject matter, so Alice spends a bunch of time every episode putting a bunch of pics up on the website at osgpod.com. Second, OSG has a Twitch at twitch.tv/OSG_pod. I stream every Sunday for the rest of the year. In the shell, I'll be doing Cyberpunk games. Third, OSG has a Ko-Fi. That's ko-fi.com/OSGpod. Literally nothing in this shit world costs $1 anymore, so you should give us your loose ones because we can do stuff like make ourselves sound better and do more extracurriculars with it. Also, we do give you a memorial hard stance every time you support us. I have one more thing to talk about, and then I'll release you, but you have to pay extra special attention here because it's really important and cool. We are about to enter a month of Big O coverage, and serendipitously, I also joined the Giant Robot FM zine team just as they announced their 5th zine on Big O2. Steven over at GRFM has graciously decided to extend an offer to OSG listeners only. Normally, you would have to be a patron at their $10 a month tier to receive a zine or pay $30 on their Ko-Fi shop. But you, listening to this right now, can get both their first zine on Big O Season 1 and the new zine that I did design and layout for $20. $20. I am wretched at math, but that is some percentage off of both of them, a kind of crazy percentage. So, yeah. So this is going to run from October 1st to October 31st, 2025 only for you all. And to make it work, you just head over to their Ko-Fi shop at ko-fi.com/giantrobotfm, all one word, and use the code OSGXGRFM, all one word, all caps. This is the only context OSG will ever advertise or partner with anything or anyone, so get them while they're hot. I promise you want the extreme multidimensional experience of listening to Big O coverage and reading these brilliant zines. Okay, again, OSGXGRFM at ko-fi.com/giantrobotfm. Do it now. Well, don't do it now. Do it starting the 1st. Interrupting myself here to just give a firmer timeline that you have until the 31st at midnight Eastern Standard Time. The Big O2 zine is shipping in late November. Yeah, look forward to that. Okay, back to the show finally. You can tell me to shut up. I'm doing it. I'm shutting up right now. Right now I'm shutting up. You can hear me shutting up right now.
Statistically worrying is a interesting way to describe an amount of meat.
All right. Item 1, somebody remind me not to leave my Steam Deck in my bed because people will make assertions about the relationship I have with my Steam Deck.
What the fuck? Who's people?
What? The allegations.
Nico, are you willing to speak on the topic of why you cuddle your Steam Deck to sleep?
It's so warm. No, item 2, I will say this game firmly establishes that Brad doesn't talk like a Homestuck. Brad talks like a lifelong Tumblr user, and I've never felt more seen. There's overlap there, obviously, but my motherfucker, I love this dude.
I don't think anybody on Tumblr knows about Homestuck.
That's true. No one's heard of it. The line I was specifically thinking of from episode 4 is when Brad says, quote, "Okay, so basically I'm about to go hog fucking wild on a pile of rotten flesh."
Hell yeah.
I love this. This game rules.
I love Brad so much. Brad was my favorite character in season 1, and he continues to be my favorite character in season 2.
And he gets an arc that is so satisfying in this one. Like, so good.
I love. All right. We back in it. I figure literally there's 6 episodes, they're 30 minutes each. I figure we just move through there, we talk about the events, and in the meantime we could talk about the stuff that is happening to frame it out. Like, hey, from the jump, new gameplay. Hey, our number one complaint about the mechs the first time we played, Powered by Blood, all the mechs look different now when they're fighting. The animations look different.
The controls are smoother and tighter and more responsive. And
Brad's mech Naruto runs.
I was about to ask if you noticed that Ultra Brad Naruto runs.
Every time I had the option to play somebody, I played Brad. So yes, I noticed that his mech Naruto runs.
It's honestly the little things, like the maps in this are of a higher fidelity, which is they are still intentionally retro and small, but I'm specifically thinking of the elevator sequence where the background is actually moving as the elevator moves, and I'm like, okay, we've dialed it in from MS Paint backgrounds. We are fully in UE5 territory.
See, I have nothing but respect for the ASCII art backgrounds. I came back to them with such affection.
Oh my god, they were so good in this one.
Oh,
that was one of my first
good.
notes is I love the I missed this.
The
actually.
ASCII campfire when you're doing your load in is so it's so good.
Incredible.
That's your narrator screen now, and it's it's
hey,
so
narrator.
good.
Hey
It's
narrator.
good to see ya.
But yeah, the battle arenas are a mix now of ASCII art, flat 2D art, and extremely low poly 3D to create vertical visual effects for a top down. And I love it. This
looks
is the only way you should
amazing.
incorporate 3D into your 2D is if it looks like it has 4 polygons.
I'm a variant of that Drake meme. It's not one of the variants. Where the first one is Ghosts of Yote. And I'm shaking my head, and the second one is this game, and I'm yeah.
I simply wouldn't pit 2 bad bitches against each other, in this case specifically Erika Ishii and Heather Flowers, but Anyway, Erica Ishii fun.
Ishii, classically responsible for the graphics in Ghost of Yotei.
She did all of that herself. Everyone thinks that is a 3D game. That's actually FMV. So like everyone needs to calm down. All right. Anyway, yeah, so one of the first things you do in this game is you hop right into a combat tutorial. You can skip it if you want, if you're still like, I'm a Giga Chad.
I sure skipped it.
I'm a gamer. Don't need to.
I remember how to, as Alice put it in our first episode, play air hockey with extra bits.
Yep.
Hell yeah.
And I love it.
It's so good. I love the gameplay so much more now. I was like excited to do battles.
It fucking whips. There were a couple of battles where I was in a tight situation and I was like, I should just skip this for time. And I'm like, no, I can do it. I know I can do it.
That is by no means should I like elide the fact that I am still dog shit at this game. Every fight that like when you lose, like it's like a story branch, I lost. Let's just get it out of the way. I lost all those bitches.
There's a major fight in episode 4. I was not winning that one.
No.
It doesn't help that you are also literally like the underdog in that fight, but like yeah. Oh,
I just want to put it right out front. It was a blowout. I beat that motherfucker so hard. Get on my level.
I knew you would. I knew one of us would.
Gamers rise up!
Alice is the Liana of our group. I would simply not lose. Skill issue.
I would just not lose. I would cheese the 3D models so that the enemies always position themselves where they were easy to knock off. Or
I will
something.
say there are interactions that happen where the enemies can strike each other and knock themselves out or off the map. That whips. Every time I accidentally, because let me tell you, no strategy. When I accidentally set up one of those and they knocked each other the fuck out, I was hooting and hollering. It was fantastic.
We also get enemy variants in this one, which we really did not get in the first one, that are actually like worthwhile to kind of know what's behavior. On the field.
Yeah.
Do you remember the unique feature of the cop mechs from the first episode? They have hats.
Oh yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
That got me. I was like, oh my god, we complained so much about all the models look the same. These ones have hats.
But we have to talk, since we're doing let's get the last thing about the combat out of the way, which is we now have the coolest choose your fighters screen fucking ever.
Good.
It's really, really good.
Real fighting game vibes. It's great. The animations, the everything. Yep.
It's so good. I'll say item 1, I assume that y'all played on your computers like real gamers.
Yeah. I need fidelity.
This shit runs like a dream on Steam Deck. I was popping. The controls, because the Steam Deck perfectly maps you to the control sticks with WASD. I was gliding. I was for the gods. It was incredible. Anyway, Brian, you had your hand up.
Nerd!
Oh no, I was fixing my hair.
Okay.
I played this on my quote unquote Steam Deck, which is I had the option, and instead of buying a Steam Deck, I bought a MacBook. So I played it on my
quote-unquote Steam Deck, aka a MacBook.
My MacBook.
I played it on my 5090 enabled computer for the real fidelity with my 1200 DPI mouse, so I could really game.
So you could really snap. You could really wrist snap in 360 people.
Here's what I'll say about the combat in this game being air hockey as fuck. This is like playing a Toho game, and the fact that I was carrying every bit of tension in my neck to make sure the timing of my attacks was correct in a way that was like very fun for me, but also, goddamn, these combats can be stressful.
Maybe I should have locked in like Alice, because I was just like chilling on my couch with The Simpsons playing.
But like,
can we finally roast Brian for the way that they consume the media? Wow, I can't believe you're also watching The Simpsons.
Yeah,
no, we can't.
Oh
no, because I can't make fun of Brian for that until Brian is watching the media that we're going to consume on a phone while doing something on the MacBook. I think that's my limit for dunking on people.
That's fair.
That's fair. That's so fair.
If you don't see Price of Smiles on a full TV, what are you even doing?
Which I did, to my great regret. Anyway.
Yeah. So another thing that we're like thrust into here is I don't remember. I did not go back and listen to our first episode because spoiler alert, if you haven't gone through our back catalog, I would say I have gone on the longest audio quality journey of those of us here.
Yep.
And
No,
I
I
have
will say
found
right
some of
now-
that shit unlistenable from my own.
That's because you are a little baby. That shit still sounds really good, especially, hey, if you've ever listened to Friends at the Table Counterweight, we sound incredible. So,
That's true, I
not to
guess.
roast Austin Walker et al. By proxy, but listen, we don't sound that bad. We're a
The
little sharp.
floor
but
is
otherwise-
higher, but like I've still gone a distance up, I would
You've
say.
gone a
Just
distance. You've gone a distance, but let me tell you, we had some really good discussions. I was pretty proud of that ep, having listened back to it. So
I remember
this is your
saying,
sign.
what if your spork was bones? So yeah, I agree.
Yeah, hey everybody, what if your spork was bones? That's a question we're gonna pick right back up in this game.
Anyway, sorry. One other thing, I don't remember the first game doing this. We get a thing where it's like from Sam's mech's perspective at the beginning here.
Yes, this was the first thing I popped for. There's like, you finish, okay, first of all, when you're doing the tutorial, Liana tells you to press the left mouse button, which is the literal mouse that was turned into a button on the left side of your mech.
Yes.
Perfect. No notes. But then you get like a menu and you can choose to be Sam, Liana, or Roots Among Ash, which is Sam's mech. And I immediately went,
Yeah.
oh, boing, I'm seeing an option to
We
be the
all
mech.
selected that immediately, right?
We absolutely
Oh
did.
my god.
The way
Brian,
this
tell
mech
me about
talks-
this.
Oh, yeah.
Alice,
Sorry.
tell me about this. One of you tell me about this.
Brian.
So basically like I guess the plain reading of this, the textual reading of this is like, because of the interface that these mechs have, which is, by the way, in case you don't remember, you impale yourself on a giant neck spike. And
We all remember.
We all remember the neck spike.
Neural spike.
Basically, like your leftover mecha pilot bullshit haunts these mechs. And it's like this. I don't think we had the mechs as spaces thing in our vocabulary when we first covered the first Meatpunks episode, but I
Yeah,
want
I
to
don't
evoke
think
it
so.
here because of the way that, like, not only do we have this, but in the first game and in the second game, the cockpit has its own like art background. It's one of the best art backgrounds. It's just a big rib
rib
cage, and like you
cage.
see some of the
Ribs.
buttons. And the way the text works here is just amazing. Like this, just we were so back, so hard, so quickly on this. I was just like, oh, we're doing
It's
it.
so
We're doing
sick.
it all right now.
So Roots Among Ash lays out for us the fact that, and it makes perfect sense, when a pilot is not in a meat mech, it doesn't have like a computer. Your brain is the cognition of the mech. So every time you disconnect your brain from the mech, it basically becomes brain dead and dies. And so then every time you reconnect,
Literally
it comes
calls it
back to
death.
life.
But I love the way that Roots Among Ash talks about Sam in particular as a pilot, as bringing a warmth and a love that Roots Among Ash just loves to feel. There's no like hatred for the pilot. There's no like, it's just excited to share that feeling specifically from Sam. And the fact that Roots Among Ash knows who Sam is and knows the feelings that they get from Sam, I think, like, not to shoot my shot immediately, but that's Mex babies. Holy shit.
That is
It's
so
fucking-
Max.
It whips. It whips. I took a bunch of screenshots during this part. One of the quotes is, "But when a pilot rides you, your nerves light up, give you some semblance of life. You wake in the way only mechs know as your pilot..." Or no. You ache in the way only mechs know as your pilot disconnects from you. It feels so lonely. Your neurons fire more slowly without a pilot. You cease to be alive. And then when he comes back, he talks about, you'll be reborn with all his patience, all his fear, all his love. Like, fucking...
So good.
I love Mex.
I love that
Mex.
those are the words that are evoked for Sam, too, because knowing Sam from the first one and his journey, like, the softest of soft boys. I love Sam.
I love Sam.
Okay.
I decided, this is a good point to talk about this. I decided Sam was my pro tag for this game. I can't believe my spouse has crashed this recording. We're fucked.
Hi, spouse.
We're fucked.
Oh my god, I forgot the little dog was already here. Anyway, there's another dog in our house.
Exciting. Astute listeners may be hearing it, but we do have a different art style for this episode. You can maybe pick that up. But the new art style for this game, I kind of want to talk about it. I really in a way that I watched too much anime, immediately recoiled and then remembered what this story is about, and I got so into these arts. Specifically, the one where Sam has his big ass smile with his hands on his hips is the funniest fucking shit in the world to me.
The blush, sweat, grin, hands on hips pose for Sam, iconic.
He's so endearing.
I love
But
it
I like
all.
how everybody's more realistic, more grungy, more punk grunge to them. Like specifically Cass. I really like how Cass is drawn, and I don't want to say drawn more non-binary, but you know what I mean. Like it's
Me
very
when I'm
much
drawn more non-binary.
Right? Yeah. It's more non-binary than I remember. Also, you see more of the racial features. We meet Cass's brother, and I'm like, okay, there's some intersectionality going on here with the Meatpunks that I enjoy.
Yeah, I will say, like, season 1, really good character art in the way that visual novels have, like, you know, just good character art and stuff. Season 2, again, like Alice said, we're getting more detailed, but I like the fact that, like, I really felt... Sorry, I've got the most distressed fucking dogs in the world in the background of this recording.
No, those are the meat mechs.
That's my meat mech. If you hear any weird fucking noises, that's my meat mech. I like that it's very clear that you can see that it's like, hey, we're on the run. We're not getting to do laundry. We're not getting to do skincare routines. We're not shampooing our hair every day. Everybody is looking like they are living like punks. They're on the run. They're homeless. They're having to deal with different shit that's going on. They still find each other attractive. They're still just normal people in the world. But actually what it reminded me of was, like, I recently was stuck on a 9-hour flight, so I watched, like, 4 movies in a row, and I jumped between time periods. So, like, I watched a movie from the 80s, and then I watched a movie from 2025 that came out this year. And, like, not so much for women. We used to let actors just kind of look, like, bad, or in this case, normal.
Yeah.
And, like, it is so wild to see the difference between, hey, we used to hire actors who were balding. We used to hire actors who had different body shapes. And then it's like, everyone kind of looks the same kind of pretty these days. I really appreciated, like you said, it's like there's an instant, like, whoa, okay, they're really detailed now. But then, like, as you keep playing, I feel like, yeah, I developed so much affection for
really
the way
grew
that they
on
look,
me.
like real
I totally
people.
agree.
I love it.
Chapter
yeah,
1.
so... Yeah, in Chapter 1, the gang is regrouping after Hopeful.
Reignition.
Cass is chasing down a lead for their new mission, while the rest of the gang gets teleported briefly back to the blood station from episode 1 with our favorite... Emily's back! I know everybody was like, where is Emily? Hashtag, where is my wife? Hashtag, have a day.
I thought this was cool because it immediately was like, oh yeah, we're doing weird shit again in Extreme Meatpunks Forever. But also, like, the fact that Emily is just like, oh my god, Sam, you're my best friend because you were the first person who ever told me that I didn't just have to be a convenience store clerk. And I've never forgotten that.
And Emily is an interdimensional entity, so has met 2 different versions of Sam, and both of them have tried to help them in some way, and, like, I love that. It's just Sam across
Emily
universes
existing
is, like, trying
in
to help.
every timeline is very funny to me. But also, yeah, when she talks to Sam about, like, oh yeah, the other Sam said that too, and he's like, what?
And they're like, you've got a lot in common with your other version of yourself. Bri, you said you were sticking pretty close to Brad in this one. Did you go with Brad and Liana when they went into the station?
I think so. Unfortunately, it's been a while since I played. I probably should have replayed.
No, you're good.
What I mostly remember from the gas station is that we get a new character, right? Don't we meet?
You take her with you.
Oh, you cannot take her with you. Okay.
This is when you meet V, from Cyberpunk 2077.
Episode 1 of season 1, where they introduce the weird guy that you can bring along, and you can just say no. And I just said no.
You didn't bring her?
I didn't bring her.
You didn't get Liana's torrid romance?
Yeah, dude, you did. Liana just did trip, didn't get laid? Wow.
My first one. Yeah,
You're
I left her-
lesbophobic.
Lesbophobia.
So I've been trying to... So main character syndromes, Cass was my kind of self-insert main character, obviously. And I was trying to play it as Cass being like, I've made bad decisions and I need to be a better leader. They apologized for cock-blocking Liana after this, but Tell me about the space trucker. I did end up going back and playing with our space trucker. I love V.
Her name is V or
character.
Vi or something, and
I've decided she's V from Cyberpunk 2077.
that's
she's
really
like,
powerful.
my game
Real.
dropped this year and it's dog shit, so I'm coming to this game. But yeah, no, she's
I don't know
like,
if I can keep taking all this Cyberpunk 2077 hate, which was a good game at release if you had a good computer. Sorry, not sorry.
Ouch. There's just layers. Okay.
yeah. But the funny thing is the way that she gets introduced is because Liana rolls up and is like, "I've just met the hottest woman on earth." Which is so
And she
real.
drives a truck.
She's like, well, allegedly she drives a truck. And there's a very funny point at which she's like always just kind of like walking everywhere with you. And I'm like, does she have a rig? We never see her. I would have loved to see her rig, but you know, we can't have it all.
Meat rig.
But yeah, no, Liana's like, on God, she's the hottest woman I've ever met. If you don't let me bring her, I'll die. And Alice said, then perish.
Perish, bitch. We've got room for 4 people.
I brought her. I'm a champion of women's rights.
Me
I
too.
love I love women. But also I liked the idea because like in the first game you could pick up the Sun Cultist and like it isn't like he and Brad have a torrid romance, but like there's a lot of interplay because Brad is an ex-Sun Cultist. And so there's a little bit of an interesting friction there. I like this because the friction here is that like Liana is down bad immediately for V, and V is kind of just like living life 1 mile at a time, real fast and furious energy. Like, yeah, I'm going with the flow. I'm vibing, and so there's an energy mismatch here in a way which I think adds dimension to Liana's character, who I think in the first game, and you could maybe read at the beginning of this game, could be read as just like cruel or mean or whatever.
Divorced.
Divorce. Spiritually divorced.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, so they go to the gas station, and when they come back, because time works differently, it's been a few hours and Cass is being hassled by the cops. And that's when you start throwing down with the cops who have their little hats, and you get into your first proper combats, and yeah, combat feels good now.
Yeah,
like, it was fun before, but it feels good.
This just seemed so unrealistic to have cops harassing a person on the street for just existing and making their life hell for no reason, just for being another. So unrealistic in our today's world.
We live in hell.
I'm glad that Jason is our second mic on this one.
But, oh god! Fuck. Okay.
Obliterated from orbit.
Obliterated, yeah, wow.
Wow.
Yeah, episode 2?
Yeah. This, okay, you know it's going to be a banger right off the top because it is called the Brad Ultra Brad Experience. And of course,
the title card?
The title
from
card
Iris J.
by Iris J. Absolutely pulling out all the stops, the lighting, the dynamism.
Brad shredding a guitar
Just
with a
shredding.
punk band. I knew immediately, I was like, oh, we're going to a shit dive bar. Hell yeah.
We start with the most important conversation that happens in this game, and I am including everything between Liana and her mom, and between Sam and Astra. This is the conversation that Alice alluded to about Brad's persona.
Oh, okay, yes.
I love this. I love this. Okay, we've talked about this before. There is such a recoiling from furry subculture in so many spheres if you, like, don't regularly just, like, hang in spheres where furries are also around. The game is immediately like, oh, you love Brad? You love Brad? Embrace furries. Do it now. In one of the most charming conversations where Liana's like, hey, what's this fucking drawing of you as a dog, dude? Is this your persona?
I found
Cringe,
this in
literally,
your
that
cockpit.
comic.
Is this your persona? But she like doesn't know what he has to explain what a persona is, and then she doesn't know what this is, and she just gets in a good-natured conversation about what everybody's persona would be.
She also reveals she's the chosen one by immediately diagnosing everyone with their correct persona.
Yes.
It's scary accurate.
It's wild. This conversation rules.
It's
Brad
so
is like,
sweet.
you're the chosen one.
It's so sweet.
There's an allusion to it later in a very funny way when they encounter a dog, and Liana's like, LMAO you. But
and later when she's like, we're running like a pack together, and he's like, oh my god, you picked your persona as a sky dog.
I'm sorry, a sky wolf. We are
Skywolves.
We're not dogs.
Green
we're
bears
skywolves.
and skywolves.
I love the ecology of Meat World. Which, by the way, welcome back to Meat World. In It's America, remember, rotated 90 degrees. Never forget this.
Never forget this.
I love Meat World. But yeah, so they have that conversation, and you end up setting off on your travel. And I mean, something the group discusses is kind of like you've changed region. So like different biome, different shit's going on. There's also like way more fash than there was previously, like around Hopeful, where like I believe the Hopeful Meatpunks had kept it kind of cleaned up. And like now you're heading back into pretty thick fash territory. You're also starting to run into, I think this is when you first start running into the rat wolves or whatever, like the little enemies.
Yeah, little fucked up forest creatures.
Yeah, little fucked up forest creatures. You're first starting to see them. And you fight through and you discover two punks who have been tied up and apprehended by Fash. And after you defeat the Fash, you find out that this is a 2-person punk outfit. And one of them, the vibes are off. There's a injurious vibe mismatch has happened to this person, and the other one has a broken arm. These are equally damaging.
These are equal injuries.
I love that Unfair Flips just came out because like this part of the game is the primordial sauce from which I think Unfair Flips starts to walk on land, which is you have to play the guitar as Sam, and the controls are literally set up. You like literally cannot do a good job.
Oh no, you played
Sam?
as Brad.
Oh, sorry,
As
Brad.
Brad.
Yeah, sorry, Brad.
Yeah.
I misspoke. Yes, Brad.
Otherwise, it would be the Sam Ultra God Killer experience. Thank
Yes,
you.
yes.
Bro, when
I forgot that was his fucking surname. I was like, what?
Okay,
Anyway.
so when you went through and they asked you, do you know how to sing and do you know how to play guitar? What did y'all answer as Brad?
Oh, I said no.
Yeah, honesty, complete honesty. Brad's an
I
earnest
said
person.
I'm the best at both.
You know what? I love Brad. Brad contains multitudes. Brad is a person who can be open, vulnerable, and honest. Brad is also a person who would lie to say, I shred like hell.
See, I thought at this point in the story, Brad was still in his character of being unopen and like the ultra Brad, which is he has to give 100% to everyone at all points, which is his journey. So I was like, he's going to say yes. And then he, of course, when the fucking Guitar Hero with numbers that don't match where they should go, and I just started fucking up at the end, and they just start complimenting you. They're like, you did so good.
It's so
and
funny.
If you choose to say that you knew, oh yeah.
I had the purest experience of this because Steam Deck don't have numbers. So all I had was right click and left click on the triggers, which could alternate you between like 1 and 4. I was literally just like, blah, 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 and like loosely trying to line it up. Dog shit. There was no chance I was going to play it well. Every
No,
time
there's
I
no way to do
accidentally
it.
hit a
And
note,
the little
it was
and the
so
little
good.
like the little like Chiron thing at the bottom that tells you how you're doing just says like bad, worse, awful, terrible. It's like so funny.
It's so fucking good. The number one thing, if I had not been hosting, if I had had to come up with a one-liner, there is a line that Weaver, one of the two punks here, explains what Weaver will be doing because Weaver usually plays guitar and has a broken arm. So what will Weaver be doing? Weaver says, in lieu of playing guitar, I will be performing simultaneous spoken word poetry.
That will be quiet enough that people can't hear it, but those who key in will have their lives forever changed. I was dead.
Okay, it's so funny. We spent so much time on episode 7 preoccupied with cringe, and preoccupied, I think, mostly with the dynamic between irony poisoning and earnestness. And we were struggling with that at the time. I'll say now, in 2025, it's just like 3 years, but I am so refreshed by earnestness and like the weirdness of the queer scene, and like it honestly feels healing to look at two punks saying the most insane shit on earth.
I think some of it I think is the writing has matured, but I agree. I also had absolutely no trouble just fully interfacing with the text here.
I read a really good review on this, and I'm sorry I don't remember the reviewer's name, but I was getting information on the score and stuff, and the reviewer said something which I completely agree with, which is just this game is much more confident in every way. In the combat, in the character writing, in the visuals. Everything is a lot more confident than the first one, and it just sings. Except if you're Brad, you can't sing and you can't play guitar. You're not good. But it is incredible.
Afterwards, when you admit to them that you can't play, they're just like, yeah, whatever, who cares? You did great. That was great. We don't care. This was fun. This is experimental.
It's so good. There's so many jokes made about like punk guitarists and vocalists just can't perform.
We also get I like the bouncer scene with Sam, where
Oh,
Sam
yeah.
talks to the old punk who is now just a bouncer at the bar and talks about his mom's old god killer brigade. And it gives you just enough little like crumbs, and it's a very like you can make it a very genuine conversation with this guy in a way that I like really appreciated. Like if you've ever been in punk scenes or punk culture, like the elder punks really are there, and they don't really go as bold as young punks, but there is this like, hey, we want to pass the torch to the new generation in a way that we don't see in society, but in punk culture is beautiful to see.
I really like, considering that Sam, I started to say earlier, I decided that Sam was going to be my main character, so I stuck really close to Sam in all scenes. I really like that Sam as a character whose mech name is Roots Among Ash, who feels very disconnected and like homeless literally, but also like familyless and everything. I loved this scene of like, especially like there's another valence too of being a young black man who meets an older black man who like knows your family and can talk to you about your family and like share experiences with you when you've mostly been running with non-black people. Like that experience came through in the writing, I think. Like I really enjoyed everything that they, like all of their interactions, but also you do just get a lot of information about how Sam's mom was this insane multi-dimensional hero. And then Sam's like, yeah, my mom's definitely dead. One day she just disappeared. And it's like, dude, your mom is not dead. Your mom is fighting battles you've never heard of.
MILF that thing.
Alice, I know that you want to talk about the cast stuff that's happening this episode, right?
Where they're just moody at the bar.
I mean, for me, this is the episode where Cass like chose a new mech name and like had like this like dysmorphia moment in their mech.
Yeah, it's towards the end of this ep. I kind of feel like it gets overshadowed by the Ultra Brad experience, but it's a really great moment.
So basically, Cass can't fully connect with the mech. So we've established that the meat mechs, you have to like have a very strong sense of self-identity to pilot them, and you have to have a name. And they do. Heather does really cool stuff with like how text is presented on screen, where the connection just won't always make it, and it gets really struggling. And Cass just kind of in between the conversations at the bar, just like realizes that they aren't the strong bullheaded leader that they've kind of been assigned, and they need to be more team player, but not like just outright saying that. But also that they've figured out that their identity is not really matching anymore, which is a normal thing that can happen. You're never really set in your identity. It can grow. And they do change. Yeah. This is the first time we get a mech upgrade in the game, where we finally they get a new name and reconnect, and their mech upgrades because of it. And they change the right click mechanic. So you always have your main smash that never goes away, but this changes the secondary attack, which Cass's was always kind of like eh. It was basically you just stopped moving wherever you were at. And how they upgrade that is now they rebound. So it's more of a like, there's a flexibility to them as a character and as a mech pilot now. I thought this mechanic was really fun too. Like if you get the inertia right, you can bounce people back in a cool way.
I love how this comes about too, because like just in terms of like, especially with meat mechs being sort of like this externalized like selfhood thing here. One of the lines that Cass has during their kind of like meltdown right before this happens is, it's not like you're not used to hating your body, it's just weird for it to happen to your mech.
Yeah.
And I think about that. There's like a hint in Heaven Will Be Mine that we were talked about, that the Crun Macula, Pluto's mech had like changed designs very frequently because LT has a line that's like this design is so her that you don't feel weird about fighting it or something like that. And I just love the malleability of that in a mech.
Well, and there's a threat that is introduced here and then is also touched on later with some of Brad's stuff, which is when you connect to the mech, if you don't have a strong sense of identity, you can get lost in the mech. And I think if that was an inorganic approach, it would almost be like being trapped in a computer. But because this is organic, and some of the stuff we see later with like the forest god and stuff, I feel like there's a real risk of like, if you don't have a strong identity, you will just be subsumed into the flesh, and you will just cease to be a person. And I think that's so interesting because so many of the characters have different struggles with their bodies and how they modify their bodies and things like that.
Yeah.
This was always extremely trans. It gets transer, I feel.
It gets way transer. Mechs are trans, by the way. I don't
mechs
know
are all gay and trans.
Mechs
Isaac
are all gay and
Asimov
trans.
said
I don't
that.
think that's been a hard stance until right now, but we're making it one. Mechs are
and
gay
also
and
Isaac
trans.
Asimov said that, and it's my hard stance that he did say that. Just read iRobot. You haven't read
OSG
iRobot.
hard stance. Isaac Asimov said in the novel iRobot that mechs are gay and trans.
Yes, that's just true.
Yeah.
But this one, especially with like having to choose new names, but especially like Alice, you said something great, which is like identities can change. And you kind of just like said that and then moved on, but like I like that this game is really focused on that because like, I mean, for me when I was younger, I was so committed to finding the right label that would just perfectly encompass me. And I was also like, I was in college during the period where we were doing a lot of micro labeling. So not only did you have like your general gender and sexuality, you also had like, what is my relationship to romance? What is my relationship to sex specifically? What is, like
we've talked
I had
about
a
this
whole litany.
Recently too, where it's like the one thing that's still happening in a lot of online spaces is like that is expected to be like a qualifier for whatever take you're about to have in our like complete our quote unquote discussion model on the internet, which is just boiled down to like firing takes off at each other like a howitzer or something.
Do you have the bona fides to have this take, and your bona fides are based on your fucking identity? Like, it cements you in a way that doesn't allow you to change your identity much if you want to keep those bona fides. Like, I think a lot about when Lil Nas X came out as bi, because, like, Lil Nas X had been closeted, and then got outed as gay, and then later came out as bi, and yet still people will talk about Lil Nas X only as a gay performer, or, like, we'll talk about certain things, but it's, like, it's really hard when you've labeled yourself and you are in a position with that label that does a certain thing for yourself or your career or whatever, and then you realize that there's a nuance to it, and you have to decide, like, well, do I just hide this, do I just sublimate it, or do I embrace it? And like a lot of Cass's story having All or Nothing become Ultralight Scavenger is about letting things go and using what's useful to you and the freedom that comes from letting things go that are heavy.
Yeah. It's good. And to like kind of pull the rug on it a little bit, like everyone's going to get one of these in this game. And I think this is one of the stronger ones. And yeah, I guess I agree that it kind of gets overshadowed, but this was the standout moment in the episode to me.
Honestly, the bar conversation between Cass and Sam was probably my favorite, just because it like they do feel like, let's be honest, Liana and Brad are just here for the party, here for the ride. Sam and Cass are actively moving them forward.
I don't know if you remember from the first game, Liana and Brad were the most antagonistic because Liana was like babying Brad. And like one of the big revelations of that game, which comes back in this game, is that Brad is 27. I love that. Everyone's like, you're not fucking 27. And Brad's like, I'm fucking 27. I'm just short. And first of all, trans mask energies of all time. Shout outs to all of my trans men who are short, maybe a little baby-faced. No one guesses your age correctly. You are going to be young and immortal forever. You are the ultra version of yourself or the infra version of yourself, depending on where you are in your personal journey.
Wow. I also want to say, I think this game is good in a trans text version, which is you have the two different sides of it, which is Cass, who is still going through that journey and fighting a battle with their transness, and Brad, who is just Brad, he, him. And the transness is not really present at any point. It isn't really a strong part of their identity, his identity.
I feel like where it comes into Brad is that Brad decided when Brad because we remember Brad's full name, which is Bradley Fighting Vehicle Danger Ultra Brad. I think I'm missing one of the middle names. But it's this crazy balls to the wall name. Brad's whole character was about, in contrast to Cass, I have transitioned and it rules, and I've decided to be the loudest, craziest version of me possible with this crazy confidence. And then in this game, the arc we get is like, when you are performing that at all times and you're not necessarily feeling that at all times, the performance wears on you almost as much as Cass's like deep dysmorphia and deep uncertainty wears on Cass. And I love them juxtaposed. I think they are two great characters, and I think it makes perfect sense that we have the Brad Ultra Brad experience and then the Ultralight Scavenger thing happen in the same episode, because they are kind of like narratively contrasted.
Well, and I think also just to kind of pay credence to Alice's point, like one of the things that's different about them too is that like Alice was saying, like Brad's gender identity is in some ways, I guess, stabler than Cass's. Like, Cass's core struggle is that their gender is by definition like not necessarily like as stable. Do you know what I mean? And that's okay, and actually that's like something that can be a source of power.
And I love that there's a contrast even when they get carded, when they go into the nightclub, because like Cass's ID is still their old ID, and so it's bleeped out, but like they get dead named at the door and are just like, fuck it, I'm going in. Brad has the craziest fake ID on earth, which I believe is actually a real ID, but is obviously like Brad is giving, I know someone at the DMV, so I have submitted my McLoving ass fucking ID, and they have had it professionally accurately printed, and it passes all checks. It is a real legal document, and it's insane. I love it so much. But like, that's so very much where those characters are at. It's like, fuck it. I have my government ID. It has the wrong name on it. I don't, like I said, I was following Sam really closely in the first episode, but like, I understood the ID to be the reason that Cass was being hassled by the cops. Like,
oh yes,
my read on that scene in retrospect
right.
was that the cops came over and are like, "Who are you? Let me see some ID." And then Cass was being hassled for obviously not matching the information on the ID anymore. Whereas if Brad had that happen, I mean, Brad still would have been hassled for being like ethnic and trans and short and whatever, you know, everything. But also Brad would have had an ID that was just insane and still pass muster, and like, I love that represents kind of where they're at. I like that a lot. Do we want to move on to part 3?
Yeah, Devil's Teeth.
We're headed to Devil's Teeth. This region is crazy.
Crazy.
The background art, which was also, I believe, a postcard and a couple of things. There was a lot of stuff for the Kickstarter that like, it was really cool. There's a lot of really cool environment art. Devil's Teeth is a... Devil's Teeth, Jesus Christ.
Devil's Teeth.
That's from the hentai parody game of... Fuck.
The hentai parody game has the exact same name.
Yeah.
Just like...
Devil's Teeth is a little settlement, very normal. It's just positioned beneath the biggest mech ever created, Atlas, which is literally shrugging. It is a huge fucking mech which is holding up part of a roadway. You get more lore on it later. It's a crazy good drawing. It's an incredibly beautiful drawing. And it's just this massive hunk of meat, and you're like, I know it smells crazy.
Brother, one of my first notes here is it stinks to high heaven, which just reminds you, like, we know, obviously it's called Meat World, but like, it's so gross here, you guys. Meat World is so nasty.
So bad.
God's bravest soldier is Holly, who is selling potpourri at the market. The only person trying to make things not smell awful, which in its own way is so difficult and discomforting to people.
Potpourri's bravest warrior, Holly.
The potpourri, the meat honey, this town, there's some...
Meat honey, get your meat honey here, meat honey on a stick! Can I get one? We're out!
The Gorbies, they're coming for me.
So this is a new gameplay style that we're seeing here.
Yeah.
That we're thrusted to.
Was so so cute.
It is.
I was
It is my favorite part of the game. You're just like walking around with everybody, talking to
Top
people.
down walk
and, like,
around. If you have all of the characters with you, you have to kind of navigate like Snake. Because you've got like this like train of people you're having
it's
to arrange.
Final Fantasy 1 vibes. It's Final
It's really
Fantasy
good.
1
I thought of
vibes,
Earthbound,
but like
a
so
little
small. Like the pixels, the little
They're
pixel
tiny.
characters are 4 pixels by 8 pixels. It is tiny.
Yeah,
Like,
there is a section of Earthbound where either you like go to a different dimension or you're shrunk or something, and a very similar thing is happening. And so that's what made me think of that. And we meet a new character here as well, who I call in my notes Just Nico. This is Just Nico.
What?
Cass's brother.
Our mom.
Oh, Jake!
Oh!
That's me. I am just, listen, if you need me, find
OPSEC.
the nearest shed.
OPSEC, only peers, siblings, enemies, and children.
That's how I encrypt all of the OSG files.
This character, this is the best coming out in a video game ever. Cass's brother dead names them.
You know him. 2-factor authentication, first rule of OPSEC. 2-factor
Cass is
authentication is when you have to know a guy who knows a guy.
Cass hasn't seen their brother in years, gets dead named and is like, hey, by the way, I'm trans and I go by Cass now. And dude is just like, okay, you want to see the things I put on my wall? Like Pepe Silva? Motherfucker's got strings. Okay.
Jake is the Gen Z representation we needed. This is literally Gen Z. Millennials angsting, rending their garments. Oh, my life is ruined. Well, Gen Z, yeah, everybody, like 51% of us have something weird going on with gender. Anyway, here's my fucking corkboard.
The ASCII art here in both Rose's living room and in this room are peak.
I do have a
to me.
screenshot of the ASCII fucking conspiracy board. It's so good.
Okay, to talk about the dialogue options, because this is a visual novel, they do a lot to have the dialogue options actually have different meaningful like plot stuff with them. But there are also times when you just get questions and answers, and that's nice. But in this one, if you read the board he's like, do you want to know what I'm learning about? You can like call him out on what it is based on what's on the board. And he's like, how did you know?
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to point out about the gameplay in this section is you are contrived into kind of redoing your circuit in the town as each character. Everyone is too queer millennial antisocial to party in a different way, which I think is really funny.
Also, I love the different reactions to the music. We are listening to a Meat World labor anthem.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I know that when I'm in Meat World, I'm getting out my meat fiddle and I'm getting out my meat horns and I'm heading to the function. I'm on that fucking picket line going crazy on that meat fiddle.
Crazy.
You're blowing the meat French horn and just blood splattering out of it. Oh, God.
Fuck, I love Meat World so much. I know,
Meat World is
Heather,
so
I
good.
know you've moved on. Y'all, we have gotta, next Halloween,
We gotta play it.
we gotta play the game. We gotta play
I'm
the
so down to
RPG.
do a Meat World actual play next
We gotta
Halloween.
do a Meat World actual play. We've got to
Oh
decide.
my God,
we
I'm
have
gonna
got
lose
to
my mind.
present the actual OSG presents. This is actually what happens with Brightfall. This is a conspiracy theory. Okay.
So, if the Meat World is just America turned 90 degrees, this is the Rocky Mountains, right? Brian,
It's the
how
Ozarks.
much meat?
It's the Ozarks.
The what?
It's the Ozarks.
Oh, the
aka
Ozarks!
the
Oh my God.
Rosarks. It's called the Rosarks here. It's spelled
so close to them.
ROZARX.
X.
And
Yeah.
then there's
I
like
get
a
it.
pronunciation guide, and when I read the pronunciation guide, I'm like, oh, it's the Ozarks. I mean the Rosarks. My apologies.
Okay, that's okay.
It's really
I'm
good.
showing my ass.
Yep, it's out here. Anyway, shout out to Gus, the Meat Honey Man. Absolutely insane character. But my favorite interaction is Gus in all caps says of Jake. Every night he shoves $5 under my door, and the next day I go over to his shed and throw a box of meat honey through his window. That's interactions we be having. That's the
community.
culture of
That's the
DoorDash.
only acceptable form of commerce.
Yeah.
Talk about the mech of it all. Atlas.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Atlas mech. So the Atlas mech is a horrible corporate idea of, hey, trucks just need like a flat road to drive on. So we'll just make a giant mech that just walks straight in a line so that we can just beat and it's just destroying cities on the way.
Robert Moses said, I have a great normal idea for a mech, and don't worry about which neighborhoods I'm planning for it to go through. Anyway, this is my joke about modern American highway infrastructure.
I love it. But meat mechs can only be piloted by one person. There's some cool, like, hey, they use somebody who was terminally ill because whoever pilots this is gonna die. And then people are like, no, you have to have a lot of hate in your heart to be able to do this and a willingness to live. So
there's a real historiography about, like, who was the pilot here and why did they stop here? Like, what happened here? I love this. I love this.
It stopped mid, like, attacking the town. And Atlas being like, it would be too expensive to move it. We'll just build the part of the highway in this section over its arms is the most corpo shit ever.
My man's got turned into an overpass. R.I.P. Atlas.
R.I.P. Atlas. All right, we got to talk about the mom shit.
The mom of it all, which is Rose, who is Liana's mom. Just like an older woman, could not be more dyke coded. Bri, do you want to hit the drop again?
MILF that thing.
Yes, we've got to MILF that thing. Rose, Liana panics. So Liana, this is an episode that is all about Liana coming back to her hometown and going, oh my god, everyone is going to have a certain opinion of me. And in some cases, that's true. If you were playing as Liana and you roll into the crowd, you meet someone you bit at one point who hates you.
Yes.
But then you also, like, reconnect with Holly, who's married now and, like, running the doomed potpourri stand. Like, there's a bunch of people you run into, but then you head to, like, the only structure in town, which is your mom's house, which is how I feel when I am in an area. I'm like, what are the landmarks? Well, my mom's house.
Me when I'm in an area.
And the meat stick place.
And the meat honey place. Yeah, that's true. And the doomed potpourri stand. But she rolls in there and she immediately panics. She's like, my mom doesn't know I'm gay. Quick, someone pretend to be my husband. And you get to choose here whether you are voluntolding fucking Sam or Brad into the role of your husband. And I immediately went, the funniest possible option here is Brad.
Yeah, I went Brad.
No, I had to go with Sam because Sam does not know what improv is, and
also,
I wanted that awkwardness.
Sam is husband material. Like, if you had to lie to your parents about, like, which one of your weird friends was actually your spouse, Sam is the one you point at, and your parents are like, all right, I'll accept this.
Isn't Sam, like, canonically the worst liar, though?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, Sam cannot lie, but also, you know, he is like boyfriend husband material or whatever. Like, I could see the case for it. I went with Brad because I love Liana and Brad, and of course, Brad
that's
like,
what I wanted. Their, like, weird, and it is funny.
Brad.
And I mean the writing here is, like, so sharp and subtle here to it, where it's like, you know, immediately that the mom is like, oh my god, how long is this gonna go on? Like,
literally, my mom when I was in high school claiming I was straight. My mom like, okay, honey, waits like a month.
It's like when you were 10, you were talking about how you were only gonna marry Holly in town because she was the only one you liked because she was a cute girl. I knew you were gay.
Actually, what Liana said was like, all the guys suck and are easily defeated. Or some shit like that. I love Liana so much as a character. This whole episode is a lot about, like, getting to meet a side of Liana you've never seen because you're in the environment that shaped her, which means that you're seeing, like, these conflicts that she's had in the past, but you're also seeing people who, like, are willing to talk to you. Like, if you circle back to Holly every time you play as a different character and talk to her, you will learn a different thing about Liana, which reveals that Liana is a softie, and, like, part of the reason that she fights so fiercely is because she cares so much about people, and, like, it's beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, no notes. It's honestly done so well. Like, Liana as a character, just very much a go hard all the time when she's not around people that she has to be beholden to, and now she's in a place that she's beholden to, as we see in these next couple of chapters.
The vocal track here made me cry. I was like snotting and crying and weeping. The
one thing Alice, you wouldn't have gotten this because you're lesbophobic. No, you went back and you played this part. This is when V parts ways with the gang, with the Meatpunks. And Liana takes a breakup about as well as you would take a semi-truck hitting you, possibly driven by a beautiful trucker. Liana is like, we have been hooking up this whole time and it rules. I think we're basically in a relationship now. And I'm like, the lesbian struggle. It's either you're constantly in weird hookup situationships, you're not doing anything.
Is it Chapel Roans? Is it casual now?
Yeah.
Anyway, I think it's funny if you don't pick up V for this, because Liana's excuse for not continuing with the group for this section is just, I've got to figure some stuff out with my mom. I'm going to stay here. And it's like, okay, that's also a valid reason.
That's
to
totally,
just be like, you're working through some stuff. Yeah.
The way that that everyone in the living room disappears in order as the song is playing. One thing that we didn't talk about is Sam has met up with Jake again here. Jason. Jason. I have him in my notes as Jake like 4 times. I'm pretty sure.
It's because
bad.
we also met Jake, and that's the Gen Z supportive brother.
No, okay, but yeah, Jason's here, and Jason and Sam disappear at the same time. Which like there's a whole arc with that, but I was just, I don't know, man. It got me so bad. Like,
well, and this reminded me. I think all indie games that are going to do something deeply emotional and do it with music should have a sequence where you do a choose your own adventure for the song.
Yes.
If you've ever played Kentucky Route Zero, there's a sequence in that where you basically write your own song, and it's one of the most beautiful tracks in that game.
This was inspired by that. Heather talked about it in the interview. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm so excited to listen to that interview.
Yeah.
I loved that sequence. And so when I got to hear a version of, because I will say in Kentucky Route Zero, that is a game that is very synth forward. And so the track is like very like ethereal, synthy, real like, beautiful synthesized voices and shit kind of sound to it. We're getting the Roots Americana version. This is one person with a guitar and a voice.
Yep.
And it does have like the cadence of a lullaby. It has a nostalgic feeling to it. Like it has the energy of what would be like a favorite hymn or something, but it's just a song about like leaving and then coming home and shit like that.
Well,
and it's so good.
It's 2 different songs depending on which lyric path you
I
choose.
went with the
and
ocean.
You can also mix it up.
Who did Forest?
I did Forest.
Oh, talk to me about Forest.
I was more about planting roots. So it's the 2. It's is it the adventure and the journey that's important, or is it the destination? Is how I read these 2 songs. But I went with the Forest one because it was just cuter to me.
But yeah, there are musical phrases, and you pick them and you plug them in, and then there's choruses that are plugged in. It's gorgeous. I love the way this was executed. It's so good.
The art is beautiful during this, where people, as Brian said, they come in and out in sequence in a way that's really cool.
Yeah.
And I love that it, I think, very concisely captures like what the actual tone of Liana's home life would have been. Mm-hmm. Liana is a character who like has a dark backstory, but honestly, out of everyone, I think hers is the most self-constructed. Liana gets in fights and kind of fucks up her own life in a way that like Sam was, as we'll explore in the next episode, Sam was kind of put in a bunch of bad situations, a lot of them by Jason. And then, like, Brad had the whole sun cultist thing going on, and then Cass had, like, what was going on for them back in Sundown, and, like, all of these people had these, like, really rough home lives, and then you get back to Liana's, and it's like, actually, your home life is kind of fine. Whatever's wrong with you is different from everyone else. And I like that. It's like, sometimes your trauma isn't about your family. As someone who like had a great relationship with my mom and then other shit happened, it's always funny to be in a group of people whose all of their issues are on their parents, and I'm like, I'm actually fine there.
I'm actually fine.
Right. Rose do just be chopping wood though. I think that's Rose's hobby.
When
She's
Rose
chopping wood.
was sharpening her axe, I said, MILF that thing. Anyway.
Okay, can we talk about the meat forest of it all?
Yeah, let's.
I also want to.
Everybody, hey.
Yeah.
Can we go to the meat forest?
I do want to talk about.
Come with me to the meat forest.
This game continues a tradition which every game should, which is the narrator cuts in to give you content warnings and will expand on them or just let you go.
I disagree on this so hard.
Okay.
I think it comes from a very specific period of time. I do think it's funny because you can choose to try to skip the content warnings, and then they ask you again and they swap the options. So I still had my cursor over I'm good, and then I hit it again and they're like, here's the content warnings anyway, bitch.
I would like it as a menu option to disable that.
Yeah.
I just,
it is a
you know,
spoiler,
put them in at
inherently.
the beginning is fine. And I actually, the question part of it, I don't mind. And I had this same opinion because the first game does this too. And I remember having the exact same opinion then, which is just I don't like the narrator themselves cutting in and saying this gets hard now bit. I don't like that. I think that I like the checking. I actually like the checking in for content warnings. You know, you can pop in and say, hey, there's some grisly stuff around the corner. Do you want to hear about it? And you can say no. That's fine. I don't like I'm sorry for writing this story that I wrote. Write the story. I want to read the story. I'm here for it.
I understand that. I get where you're coming from. It's almost like a I don't think it's actually this in the case of Heather Flowers, but there was a really good post that's like reading a book and you can tell how scared the author is of being canceled on Twitter.
Yes.
I don't think that that's the case with Heather, but
No,
I do
don't
think
so
that
either.
that impulse, I do think like some of this stuff grew into that where it's like, I'm putting content warnings because I'm terrified that somebody's going to at me and say that they got triggered. Like, you know, it's kind of rough here, but I will say with the precedent of the first game, it didn't clang as much for me here because it and the campfire comes back. I feel like it's better incorporated into the flow, even though it is flow breaking.
I think, here's my thought on this. Here's my entire thought on this, which is I think this is a preemption of people going online and being like, why couldn't you just make a fun game that explored these ideas? And I think it is very much like trying to argue the point that you can't have these stories without going this way. And I apologize that we have to, but it can't just be sunshine and rainbows. Yeah. This world is... But I get you, Brian. I understand completely. But what about some blood-soaked antlers? Can we check out the coolest deer I've ever seen?
I do want to touch on something real quick that's going to come up a lot in the part 4, which is too far part 1. Homestuck-ass act structure. Anyway, something we haven't talked about, I'm playing Sam as like my main character. Sam has got a thing going on where Sam has like a literal monkey on his back. He has like a devil on his shoulder called Astra. Which is like, it turns out it's like It Follows. It's like a parasite that you get picked up in your mech and you can get rid of it by like giving it to someone else. But Sam is not the person who would willingly give it to somebody else. In the first episode, Emily offers to take it on because they are an immortal being for whom time passes in eldritch ways. And they're like, if I take it on, it'll just starve and die. It's like adding a tick to a person who has no blood. It'll just die. But Sam refuses because Sam's like, I don't want you to feel bad. I would rather keep carrying this. This is a major part of Sam's character arc. And I got fucking scalped by one of the lines that Astra says at one point, because at night, when everyone goes to sleep, people have different issues with sleeping or whatever, but Sam is always like, I don't want to sleep, and then gets dragged into a nightmare. But one of the lines that Astra says at the beginning of part 4 is, the idea of getting what you want is scarier to you than doing without it, than living without it. And I said... I think all of these characters can say something to you based on your experiences, and Sam's story had me in a death grip. It was painful.
Yeah, this is. I mean, and the game wasn't joking. Like this is some dark shit that these guys are gonna go on. Yeah.
So they got a side quest. They got a side quest from Jake. Jake's like, hey, I had a contract. I was technically supposed to be investigating this like weird ass cryptid in the meat forest. Y'all know about the meat forest? And everyone's like, Jake, none of us know about the meat forest. And Jake's like, yeah, it's just the meat forest. And Jake's like, hey, I need you to go in the meat forest and check out this like cryptid thing. It's probably chill. By the time you get back, I'll have the information you need on your lead about stealing the sun.
Yeah.
Liana decides to stay. If you've kept V with you, it's very clear that Liana is dealing with some like emotional fear of letting go type issues and has decided to like, I need to hash things out with my hometown. I need to do this stuff. If you haven't brought V with you, I guess it is literally like, I need to figure this thing out with my mom. Like, but Liana leaves the party and but thankfully we do have someone to fill in who's very capable and very helpful to us. Who's fucking Jason.
Yeah.
And we mentioned Jason, but Jason, for those who didn't play the first game, is the character who basically precipitates the situation that gets Sam kicked out of Sundown. Jason is back. Jason was one of like 2 gay people in Sundown that Sam knew of at the time. Of course, the actual game shows us that there were plenty of queer people in Sundown, but like, I think this episode serves to show that like Jason kind of had Sam sequestered.
Yeah.
And like isolated in this way. And Jason's like, I can fill in, I'll go with you. But one thing we find out very quickly is Jason's like, why are we killing fascists? You can just like avoid them.
Why are we fighting?
Or like talk to them or whatever.
We've got to say it right now. Jason is a white, gay, white cis man. Like, this interrogates the white cis man who is like, it's fine that fascists are doing fast shit. Just talk to them. They're normal people that we're really living through right now in a way in the queer community that I do not like.
Yeah.
But it's played so slow in the way that incrementalism opens up the door to fascism. He's like, they're like, how did you get here? And he's like, I just walked. Nobody harassed me because I present as a cis white male who just happens to be gay. It's like the tolerance of intolerance that you can find in queer communities being like, well, we just don't have to make splashes. We just need to, like talk to them as people and they'll understand us. And the Sundown Meatpunks are like, no, every time we've tried this, they just fight us. We know what happens.
Yeah, I was Googling around trying to find the all-timer James Baldwin quote on this phenomenon, which is James Baldwin's a black gay man. He lived a lot of his life in France. He wrote Giovanni's Room, Another Country. He wrote a lot of really influential black queer books. And his quote that I always think about with this phenomenon is, he says, I think white gay people feel cheated, he says, because they were born in principle in a society in which they were supposed to be safe. The anomaly of their sexuality puts them in danger unexpectedly. Their reaction seems to me in direct proportion to the sense of feeling cheated of the advantages which accrue to white people in a white society. There's an element, it has always seemed to me, of bewilderment and complaint. Now, it may sound very harsh, but the gay world as such is no more prepared to accept black people than anywhere else in society. It's a very hermetically sealed world with very unattractive features, including racism. So, like, Jason being a figure who has exerted control on Sam and basically shaped Sam's perception of the queer world, it's right in there. It's right in that. Jason is doing a very specific thing in the story, and I love it. Like, if you had to bring back Jason, there was a way you could have brought him back as almost like a mascot. It's like, oh, here's Sam's fuck-up friend Jason, who's struggling to get to the city. And instead, Jason is brought back here as someone who is willing to be complicit with fascism if it makes his life easier. Because
he's also...
he only has one feature that the fascists disagree with.
Yeah. And it is a feature that can be easily hidden.
He just has to take his earring out.
Yeah.
And this is where we get the oh, sorry, Brian. You go.
I was just gonna say he's also doing this thing where he's like kind of emotionally, or not kind of, he's straight up manipulating a wedge between Brad and Sam.
Yes.
And you get the
very
sense,
messy gay.
Well, and you get the sense, like I was saying, you get the sense that this is maybe something he's done before, but it wasn't obvious before because Sam didn't have strong connections with people before. And so, like, if Jason inserted himself in a nascent friendship and just killed it, there's a very real possibility Sam wouldn't have seen it because Jason has been his friend for so long. Like, it's a really rough episode that deals with this. But also, I think it just whips egregiously. I also think there's an interesting element that happens here with Jason. When he gets desaturated the way Astra does.
Yeah.
I was like, is Astra strong enough? Because there's a thing that happens at the very beginning of this game where they talk about the fact that Astra has a name and isn't just a nameless parasite is probably bad. Like, that means that Astra, like, if you were a demon with a name... He's a named
devil.
Yeah, like, that's not good. You may be powerful. And so it plants a seed in your mind where it's like, is Astra powerful enough to externalize?
Do we see a meat devil in Chainsaw Man?
I mean, technically they're all meat devils.
I guess
they all are composed of meat. No, because we have the gun devil.
Funniest answer.
Maybe the pestilence devil. Maybe.
Well, because it's societal fears. I think we would have seen a meat devil after the mad cow disease crisis in the 90s.
Yeah.
But if there had been and they defeated it, then no one would remember what meat was.
Anyway,
Tell me about the meat forest, Brian.
the Meat Forest has crazy
Did you
music.
see those trees? Did you guys just see that over on that tree over there? I think I just saw something move.
Yeah.
And then its eyes open.
Yeah, it's
Fucking
got
fucked
the
me
trees have
up.
eyeballs. The trees
have
blink
eyes.
at you. They look at you.
60% meat.
The fights are scary and hard here in a way that's like harrowing. And
it doesn't help that the person who's taking point most of the time here, I believe, is Brad.
It's Brad. I don't
struggling.
you don't get the choice right here, right? He takes point. Like, yeah.
I want to talk about this game does such a better job of forcing you to be the different characters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because the previous game, you just basically had free choice at the beginning of the day.
And at the
who you
beginning
wanted
of
to play.
each fight, even if narratively it had a character, was like, do you want to change?
Yeah.
And in this game, they start to like take that away from you. Like, no, you're playing Brad. Nobody else can fight.
And I think that's really good. It forces you to play with different skill sets. It forces you, like I said, I was cleaving very close to Sam. I still got to have character moments with Cass, Liana, and Brad because the story literally makes you go have those if you otherwise weren't interacting with them.
Yeah.
I think it's
totally.
fantastic narrative design and game design. Like, again,
It's good shit.
This game has just evolved off of what it was already doing. I think it's really great.
But that's what sequels should be doing. The deer.
Dear God, we meet the god of the forest, which
guy.
is a parasitic meat creature that has taken over a deer as its main host, but has infected most of the forest and its creatures. You see this thing's spine. It's just there. It's out. This thing is decrepit, decaying, but still alive in a way that only Meatpunk can
It looks
be
so cool. The drawing
living
is
meat.
so good.
I love the thing from the thing. And I simply think
love
we
the
should
thing
let
from
the
the
thing from
thing.
the thing colonize the Ozarks and
I
just sort
love-
of do its own thing from the
I
thing.
love what if Swamp Thing, but in Meat World.
What if swamp meat?
What if Swamp
I
Meat?
like things that are cool when it starts to psychically interfere with Brad, who is vulnerable at this time. You start to get dialogue options that are just the chant to become part of it.
Yeah.
In a fun way.
And there's like a ritual chant that you actually engage with willingly later. Well, coerced willingly. But there's a very scary moment you get just before this. Brad almost falls asleep in the mech. And it's not something we've been told specifically before is bad, but we know that you can get lost in your mech. And so the idea of falling asleep on the spike, that seems really bad.
It's really
And
scary. Yeah,
it sucks
not good.
that Jason is the one who pulls him out of it because he takes the opportunity to do more fucking psychological warfare on Brad, the king of all kings. But yeah, then Brad is ultra vulnerable to being sucked in by the forest god and is only saved by Sam doing #classic Sam maneuver and trying to kill himself to help.
Yeah.
Sam sacrificing himself to save others? If only this was a major plot point that Brad is going to call him out on later.
Cass would be trying to open a difficult jar and Sam would be like, no, let me. I love Sam.
This entire game is really just the four of them felt at the end of one like they had figured it out. And this is like, no, you've got fucked up things going on.
It's
We
like
still
when
gotta
you've-
deal with it.
It's like when you've been in therapy for 6 months and you like have a breakthrough and it's an important breakthrough, but it's not the breakthrough. And you're talking to your therapist like, my God, I've done it. I've defeated therapy. And your therapist is like, you defeated it.
You
Now,
defeated
do you
it.
want to talk about your other issue or no, not yet? Okay, we'll get there in like 6
We'll
more
get there.
months.
Anyway, so in the seminal video game Starfield, you go to the mech factory while doing the Frontier Space Cowboy arc.
I know.
What if that factory
Actually
was meat?
fucks. What if it was sensual?
The shot of the mech factory is phenomenal.
Instant screenshot.
Iconic. They're
Took
on
it.
meat hooks. It's so good.
Of course they're on fucking meat hooks. Oh my God, this has such a payoff in this episode. It goes crazy. I love it.
The way
Yep.
we talked about the parallel of like manufacturing process being meat in the first episode a lot. That was where I think the spork is bones quote came
Yeah,
from.
because I was talking about the construction of Meat World, everything relying on meat visceralizes our reliance on like oil and plastic.
Yeah. This is a great example of this. There's like the fact that the runoff creates the unholy demon forest of meat is like
It makes you
Wow.
think about tanneries. Tanneries have been a noxious industry since
Yes.
the dawn of time. Basically, since we started tanning stuff. It really makes you think, the meat hooks especially, like, it's funny, Meat World doesn't really touch on what industrial meat processing would look like in Meat World, because it's like, well, just slamming your meat against your meat, like, you know, what are you doing? But this starts to touch on and play with those images, and I think that's really compelling. Like, oh, and it's worth mentioning again, this game also has a vegan mode. Mostly it just turns off meat noises. You can't really get away from meat visuals, but if you're really like, oh, I can't deal with the meat noises, there is a vegan mode. So,
And they are meat noising harder than ever before in this one. The visceral sound was so good.
The noises are great. This is where we get the mask off moment with Jason, where he outright says, "No, we should try to talk to the Fash." And this is where because like he's been a little bit avoided about this, but I think it's good that the cutoff point is he outright says we should try to reason with the fascists.
And it reveals, even if he wasn't as malicious as he is, it reveals the gulf of his ignorance.
Yes.
I'm gonna get real for a second. I went on a trip that was like a queer, like, almost like group summit with my GSA in college. And so we took a group of like 15 queer people.
Okay.
Trans people, different ethnicities, different races. And we went to Montana, which meant we drove through Idaho. So we went from Washington to Montana. We do the thing and we're coming back. And I'm like, oh, we should get food before we get back to the university. Let's stop at the Denny's in Idaho.
The Denny's in Idaho.
My white ass.
Yeah.
I was not thinking. To me, it was very simple, like, oh yeah, let's just go to the Denny's in Idaho. That's a fun, we can all get Denny's together. That'll be so fun. And a solid 2/3 of the group was like, I am entering a war zone. And I didn't realize it until, like, everyone who wasn't white was looking around at everyone else in this Denny's who was white, except for the service workers. And then when it came time for everyone to use the bathroom, I had trans friends approach me and go, will you stand guard in the bathroom? I still had long hair at that point, so I looked more femme. They were like, will you come to the bathroom with me and stand guard? And I did that, and that was the first time I realized that I was fucking up because I am white, cis, gay. And I mean, now I'm more gender nonconforming, but at the time, I had no concept. And I wasn't malicious about it, but that ignorance and that lack of reality of the danger. At one point, Jason just says, let's go downstairs and talk to the Fash. They can give us medical help for Sam. They're not going to give you medical help for a black gay man. What the fuck are you talking about? But, like, having displayed that ignorance once myself, I was like, fuck, like, this is it if I didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And there's also a thing about presentation here, right?
Yeah.
Which is Jason can mask very easily as a straight person and hide that part of themselves. Whereas our Sundown Meatpunks very much are unapologetically queer. And I
in the
mean
case
that not
of, like,
in a way.
Liana,
Yeah.
Liana is white, but Liana is also in a wheelchair. So, like,
Yeah.
no one can hide what they are that Fash hate.
But also there's a very good discussion to be had about, like, how hard it is to not mask, to not hide these things for the sake of convenience. And the thing is Fash will put up with you if you hide the important parts of yourself. And that is not indicative that you should hide that part of yourself. That's indicative that a Fash is going to use that to attack you. And they're a bad person for that.
At the end of the day, we're all fags. I always think of that. To them, it doesn't matter how well you pass, how well you blend, how nicely you play ball with them. At the end of the day, you are insert whatever slur to them.
Yeah. Anyway, you're obviously a virgin.
Yeah.
That
We finally get the payoff of the Ultra Brad or the Brad Sam romance. Like, I think we get it in this one. Do we get it in 5?
No, that's
Yes.
that's where that quote comes from. He says, "You're
Yeah.
obviously virgin," and then Brad says, "That doesn't mean I don't fuck."
Me.
Brad fucking knows. I
It
do want to
rules.
know, how hard was this fight for you? Because
So
this
hard.
is one of two
So
hard fights.
I got obliterated.
I
I gave
couldn't
up.
do it.
I gave up.
I lost so bad. I kind of like losing a little bit more.
His mech hits.
Narratively, I felt like it worked for me because then
Yeah.
with the Atlas thing. But Alice, what was it like to be a Chad?
It felt good because each time I beat him, Sam was just like, you can stop this at any point. And he's like, no, I can do it. And at like 4-0, Cass is like, it looks like it's gonna be a blowout, honestly. And Jason's like, no, it's not. I got this. And then I beat his ass and he just like does not acknowledge the fact that I just fucking zoned him.
One of the things that we talked about in the first game that transfers to this game, but we haven't talked about it yet this episode, is that you don't really have an HP bar, but the more fucked up you get, the less responsive your controls become. And at a certain point in this fight, I could hold the up for like multiple seconds before my mech would start moving. It was really bad out there.
I got fucked up real bad.
Great fight. Love the end. We get the greatest art in this which is Brad holding Sam.
Yeah.
Lovingly, beautifully. Yeah. I'm so happy.
I'm so happy for them. Like, so much.
The gayest thing.
A big part of the conflict, quote unquote, that is happening around Brad and Sam is Sam trying to find the perfect moment to confess, which he almost had back at the like farmer's market, and then that was interrupted by Jason. Yeah. Right? And so there's a conversation you can have with him, I think as Liana, or maybe as Cass, where you're like, there is no good moment. You need to just go for it, champ. You could be having weird groupie makeouts with Brad right now. You need to shoot your shot, king. And Sam's like, no. But finally, we're at the point where he's like, okay, I got to shoot my shot. And of course it lands. Like, they've been... I love them. I love them so much. And this feeds into, like, the next section where, like, Sam is... I mean, depending on how well you did the fight, like, you're pretty badly beat up. Brad needs to, like, try to fight through the Fash compound beneath to get you out of there.
He's the only one who's up for it.
And Brad has a realization. Brad goes, I've been scavenging for parts all my life. For the first time ever, I'm at the Gundam factory.
Yeah.
I'm at the place
Brad
where I can
remembers
just
that
get
his superpower is scavenging and mech building.
His superpower is DIY HRT, and shoutouts to him. I think everyone should have the ability to titanium bones at any time they want.
I love when he's just talking about these parts as if they are actual mechanical, like I think of a transmission in a car, like he's talking about, oh, I'm swapping this out for that. And then I have to keep reminding myself when he's talking about this, it's a piece of meat.
He's that Reddit user when that like cis guy went on the trans subreddit and was like, I need help with the transmission in my car. And then one of the people in the subreddit, like one random trans person, was like, it's this, and this, good luck. That was Brad.
Yep.
That's Brad. Brad is in the trans subreddit helping people with their transmissions. This is where the line, so basically I'm about to go fucking hog wild on this piece in this pile of rotten flesh. I have myself never been more attracted to Brad than I was in this moment. Sam is dying. Sam is dying throughout this episode.
If you're me and you're playing and you're straying close to Brad in this game, this is your crowning moment because we get in for Brad, which he gets the craziest power upgrade of anybody, which is just he can do his thing all the time now with no power limit.
There's just a wind-up that is so easy to game. It is broken. Good. It's so broken.
His whole thing was that, like, he wanted to be ultra all the time. He wanted to be going hard all the time. And so he was sloppy about it in a way that he didn't have to be. Like, he was performing in a way he didn't have to be. And he's like, if I'm willing to take the concession of not always being on it, like, not always, like, having to have a second to wind up, I can just... Like, if I'm not always trying to do 110%, I can do a 90% that obliterates people all the time.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, yeah, man.
Also, I like the tunnel fight. These are some of the coolest design maps for me. I was
so
just like,
good.
immediately.
You just go on a rampage. Yeah. It rules.
Yeah, it's sick. So I did not have to restart this one. I just fucking went in for Brad on their ass. It's so good. Later on, there's a fight where you can play as either Liana or Brad, and I played as Liana like 3 times and was struggling, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I could just switch to Brad, and then I crushed it.
So
and I was like, I love you and for Brad.
Now, well, actually, I guess I'll wait until it comes up organically. There's a quote from episode 6 I really want to read, but
but I mean, 6, like, we get through the duel, we go through all this stuff, we get back out, and we find out that Devil's Teeth is completely under attack. We are under fucking attack. And you have to get back, and everyone is having to take on different, like, submissions to deal with this calamity.
Bears are attacking. The calamity is the forest is attacking.
The forest is attacking. All of this shit is on fire. There's a very real risk that the Fash could get a hold of Atlas which if they can get any kind of functional pilot in there, which, I mean, fascists fundamentally think of people as disposable, including and especially their own. Rest in piss, Charlie Kirk. Like, all of your people are disposable if they can serve you in any way, ideologically or physically. So fascists are just going to throw guys into Atlas until they get it moving. So you need to defend Atlas, you need to try to put out all the fires in town and save who you can. And you also gotta go deal with the forest god, because we need less of these, like, fucking rat wolves running around fucking up shit.
Well, Cass is like, I know what I have to do, because Cass has been having dreams of Dear God. I really enjoy how Cass, at the end of all of this, is like, yeah, I kind of just took an easy hike in the forest while you guys were doing all of this.
And then they're like, it's so good. But yeah.
So let's kind of go through what everybody does during the penultimate fight.
Item 1, absolute banger character select screens.
Yes.
Just absolutely good. They give you your, like, missions.
Jumps you between them. Like, you go through bits, and then it'll lock you out of some until you're narratively for the next, which is a cool thing that they do.
Good narrative design. Good narrative, good writing,
It's really good
narrative design.
Cass decides or knows that they need to become a part of this. And my favorite thing is the Dear God is like, oh, it's gonna hurt like a motherfucker, but you won't remember. You won't remember that pain at all. And you'll remember who you are and what you are, and the body and the vessel doesn't matter.
Do you know that short story? It's a horror short story about being a trans woman who comes up pregnant, and you're like trapped in the body horror of like, how am I gonna deliver a child? What the fuck are you talking about? Whatever. And like, that reminded me of this, because something that is often said about pregnancy and delivery, the human mind cannot remember what it was actually like to give birth, because otherwise the humans would not give birth again. Like, the mind immediately, like, papers over it. And so when the forest god is describing what it's going to be like to transform and, like, become one with it, and then says it's going to be the most painful thing you've ever experienced, but you also won't remember it, my brain immediately went to, like, wow, this is doing crazy shit with bodies. And, like, you don't have to be cis to have an experience that will be fucked up in a very specific gender way for you, physically and emotionally.
And as a trans person, I want to meld with a forest god so
I know you
badly.
do. I was waiting for you to say that you wanted to do this.
I want the blood-soaked antlers. Please make me a part of the meat trees. I just want that. This story is perfect for me. I'm so normal.
I want to be the kind of thing that haunts Hugh Dancy in his weird little, like, soliloquies in Hannibal. I want to be one of those things.
I want to be the Atlas that protects all my friends, even at personal cost. Sam coming for my life with the narrative again.
So Sam's going, he's getting up onto Atlas. That's his story. I really like his fight is just like, he's just punching these creatures and talking to Atlas through this in a cool way.
Non-OSHA compliant elevators for the win.
Yeah.
Very specifically, you are killing people because there are no fucking handrails on this motherfucker. And you're taunted by Astra like the whole time.
Yeah.
This is when like the original art style really shines through. I love this road. This road is so silly.
It looks so good. I really like it.
I love it. But how do you get into the cockpit of Atlas?
Okay, we can't get there yet. What's going on with Leon and Brad? So Leon and Brad are facing a character who Brian alluded to. The most normal guy at the farmer's market. You know this motherfucker is immediately sus because he is using non-meat-based technologies.
Yeah.
Why do you have an iPad, bro? Why do you have a VR headset, bro?
This motherfucking tech, bro. I love it's so obvious of a like, oh, this is shitty tech bro fascism, but I'm like, it works so well.
It's so good. There's a whole conversation that Leon and Brad have with him later that's like, you're fash. And he's like, I'm not fash. I'm just totally fine taking money from them, working with them. I don't really disagree with their ideology, and I want to make a lot of money, so it's fine. And they're like, so you're anti-fascist. Bro, you're a fascist. And he's like,
but Brad's like, if only there was an easier way to say that.
There's a very famous TikToker that lives in my area that's having the public meltdown right now because she drove 13 hours to go to the Charlie Kirk Memorial, and was found out. And it's very that because like I honestly, I've been laughing because on the same day we had a school shooting in our immediate area.
Yep.
And she chose to drive 14 hours to go to it was a MAGA rally. That was not a memorial.
A MAGA rally celebrating the death of a guy who was not fascist enough for the fascists and got capped while saying the funniest possible thing short of, what are you gonna do, shoot me, guy, before you get shot?
It is the official OSG stance that we are honoring Charlie Kirk's memory by not having empathy, because empathy is a made-up emotion per Charlie Kirk. So
yes.
Yeah.
That's the official stance.
And he died doing what he loved, condoning gun violence. So
yeah.
But yeah, no, it's fucked. It's so funny. But yeah, so everybody's having these different showdowns, and like the way I described it, you know, like Brad and Leon are having to deal with the fucking techno-fascist. Sam is dealing with Astra, who is like gay ass bitch gay. Whatever that fucking the meme that's like behind every gay person is a gayer, meaner person or whatever.
Yes, yes.
So Astra is tormenting him while Sam is actively trying to like do some last minute therapy work on his like suicidal protective impulse. He's like, I'm gonna wait here. Well, you can choose the dialogue options, but I chose the ones that's like, I'm gonna wait here until somebody radios me that they need me to sacrifice myself. I'm not just going to go ahead and sacrifice myself. I'm going to do the responsible adult thing and just wait here by the precipice and not jump in just yet. And Astra's like, you're a dumb bitch and you're going to jump in. And Sam's like, no.
So just to wrap up the techno-fascist fight, this is the other boss fight in the game, which like, first off, easier fight than the Jason fight. Let's be honest. I beat his ass so hard. But he keeps like teleporting out.
It's not the techno-fascist. It's the guy in your community who is hurting the people in your community.
So you beat his ass, and he calls they figured out how to manipulate the creatures, and so they start. And it's a time survival. Most frustrating part of the game. God damn. Fire instantly kills you. We didn't talk about the mechanic. I forget if this was in 1, but if you do the right dialogue options, your characters will save each other, which just gives you an extra life per fight, per chapter.
I love the dynamics of it, especially because if you've become reliant on this mechanic, when Liana leaves you at the beginning of the chapter, it like breaks all of your chains.
It breaks
like,
all of them.
For
Yeah,
me,
it's so good.
Everyone had a save set up with Liana, and so when she left, everyone was just
I feel
fucked.
like it's intentional.
It was so good.
It was
but
really
it's
good.
back in this part, you could save each other. Cass goes to get a little Old Gods of Appalachia with it. Like, just like, I'm gonna go. Cass... There's actually a really good, very small conversation that happens here about consent and coerced consent. And like the idea that you always have a choice, even if your choice is obliteration, which is very difficult to reckon with a lot of the time. It's something that gamers famously didn't love reckoning with in the documentary video game Mass Effect 3, where they whined and threw fits about their choices until the game finally gave them a choice to not make a choice, and then they got upset about the results of not making a choice. It sucks. It sucks to choose sometimes, especially when all you have are bad options, but sometimes you just need to recite Fire Walk with Me and be assimilated into the meat deer. Like, it's beautiful. It's an incredible sequence. I think this is incredible poetry in this game. Alice, poetry correspondent, how did you feel about it?
I like when words rhyme.
Love that. I like the
poetry
line,
correspondent.
your mech name doesn't tie you to yourself, it ties you to others.
Yes.
That's some Heaven Will Be Mine shit.
It's so
the framing here
good.
of being like, you won't, like, your God basically is like, you won't truly lose yourself because you have your connections, and I can't get, those will never go away. That is who makes you as a person, Cass, in a really fun way.
Yeah, I think this is a really great approach to something that you see sometimes in like amnesia narratives, where it's like, well, if you don't remember who you are, like, how are you going to be the person that everyone loves? And it's like, well, if they all love you, they will kind of remind you of who you are. And I love that, like, the main consequence, like, light spoilers ahead, we're going to talk about it, but, like, the main consequence that we get of this is that Cass looks like art unchanged, like, doesn't suddenly have blood antlers and shit, but then we find out later, like, has eyes in their arm and stuff, but there's a real sense that continuity of identity was preserved. It's like, well, now this is just a new part of your identity.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's there, you know? But yeah, then the only way to get into Atlas is by activating Protocol 3.
Protect the pilot. So jump off in your meat mech. The cockpit's in the middle, so you're going to have to eject out and rocket into it. I love this from the perspective of Roots Among Ash.
You have to choose Roots Among Ash in the first part for this to hit you like a fucking sledgehammer.
Yeah.
Roots Among Ash knows that they're gonna die from this, and it will be their last death. And they've died a lot of times before, and but why they are like, they're not hesitant or anything about it, but they're sad that they won't get that warmth again that Sam gives them. And I think that this is Max. This is beautiful. It's so good.
I love the sequence.
It's literally it's meat BT, it's meat tea.
It's meat tea. Oh my god, it is meat tea. Oh my god, it's meat tea. No, I love the sequence of it falling. The animation looks amazing. The cinematic is incredible.
We literally get like an animation Oh, it's so good.
Yeah.
The money is on screen during this segment.
Who?
Who do you call?
Thank you to all the Kickstarters
what?
for putting the money on screen during this segment.
Oh, I see.
Money.
Money.
The money was on screen during this segment.
Yeah. I just want to shout out a game called The Red Strings Club. I don't know if this is a direct inspiration, but the sequence. This is not a spoiler because this is just the envelope frame. But Red Strings Club is told from the perspective of a character who is falling to their death. And it like the mirroring is so good. Yeah, people should play that game. It's really, really good.
It's good. So who did y'all call for your last call on radio? It had to be
Bradford.
So I did go back and play the other ones. I did go back and do the other ones. They're all gut-wrenchingly beautiful. That's what I'll say.
I'm glad you did. I thought about calling Liana. Because Brad and Liana have a relationship that's almost like, or Sam and Liana. What I was going to say, Brad and Liana have a relationship that, like, I could see, like, this is a weird situation, but, like, I have two partners, and I could see where it's, like, if I was dying, I have one relationship that is much stronger than the other. I would reach out to the other person and be like, here's what I need you to do to take care of the person who's most important to me right now. Yeah. So I could see any of the other Meatpunks, but I went with Brad. Like, you gotta go with Brad.
I had to do to
Especially
Brad.
because Brad picks up and is like, honey, you gotta get out of here. We're gonna die. And you're like, not if I die first. It's really good.
So this full animation that we get of them, everybody reacting, it's beautiful. And then we actually get like a beautiful drawing of Sam going on the spike in Atlas, which is a giant cone. It's so fucking big.
Yeah.
And then, so we get the sky cracking, which we got in the first one, and the laser coming down. Fuck me, this is Mechs, baby. Holy shit.
So
the
good.
laser comes down,
it's
and
so
Atlas
crazy.
just says, nope, I'm a push back. I'm a push back on this bash.
It's giving Ava, catching the angel as it descends to Earth. It's giving like any of these like crazy, huge, monumental mech moments. Like we get it here. And I love that the shield that is used is the fucking highway they built across it.
Yeah.
Like, you had tried to destroy this community, you failed, so you stuck a highway over it. Fuck you, the only use for asphalt is to deflect the fucking sunstrike. It whips every time.
It's so good.
And the specific animation where Atlas, of course, has the thing on its shoulders, is blocking the sunstrike, and then there's an overlay animation of Sam pushing up. And then it cuts.
It's just briefly where he's just holding that weight, and then he pushes back.
First of all, play this fucking game. Second of all,
like poetry, it rhymes.
If you play this fucking game. Second of all, play this fucking game. That is also number 2. Number 3, if for some reason you will not, you're dying, you have circumstances, you can't play this game, watch the final animation. That shit rips. It's so good. Watch it again if you've already seen it once.
Play. The story is good.
It's really good.
Watch a Let's Play if you can't pick this up, but also support the author.
It's so fucking good. It's so fucking good.
Yeah.
We get a cool wrap up, which is just Sam waking up.
We're back at Mom's house.
3 days later. Back at Mom's house. Sam wakes up. Brad and Sam have the best conversation in this game, which is, hey, you need to stop trying to sacrifice yourself. And Brad's like, and Sam's like, yeah, my bad. I need to stop doing that.
There's a very funny moment where you can like argue about it, where you're like, well, I didn't try to sacrifice myself that time. And then, it was specifically because like I waited and I wasn't going to jump and sacrifice myself until I got the radio call.
Yeah.
And then Brad is like, well, why the fuck were you up there, honey? Okay, you were ready to sacrifice yourself. You're pretending that you weren't, but you were. And you have to be like, I'm sorry.
We get a beautiful wrap up, which if you chose Sam as the one who was in a relationship with Liana, you have to just be like, I was dreaming about something I can't talk about our relationship that is very saucy, so let's not talk about it. And then Rose is like, hey, you can stop the bullshit. I know you're gay.
Yeah.
Rose obviously knows her daughter is a dyke. Honestly, shout outs to moms who rule and who know.
Shout outs to moms who rule and who know.
I love Brad's reaction if you chose Brad, which is like, obviously he's sitting there like holding Sam's hand, and then like Liana and mom come in, and Brad like jumps out and is trying to act the part and is like, this quote kills me. Brad says, as a cisgender straight man, I do not care if another man dies.
Absolutely. That is so funny.
I love it so much. It's so fucking good. And then we get, you know, Jake has one last download for us, which I love Jake so much. Like, I jokingly said earlier, Jake is the Gen Z sibling who doesn't give a shit about trans issues because obviously being trans is cool, but look at my crazy murder board. I love Jake as a character because of that. Honestly, Jake is the kind of character who captures what gives me hope about Gen Z and Gen Alpha. Hey, as much as there are hateful people, and you can't, there's this idea that, like, just outlive the fash. Like, times are turning. The arc of the universe is bent towards justice. Just outlive them. Unfortunately, fash also have kids and indoctrinate them. So, like, you can't outlive fash because unless they are eradicated, more fash will happen. But I love the idea of there is an ambient change among good kids that mean well. Now what that means is evolving to encompass more and more love for more and more people. Each generation, there are changes that are happening that are making things that used to be issues, non-issues, just for kids who mean well, not even kids who are activists. Anyway, I love Jake. He comes with the download. He's like, hey, every time there's a sun strike, there's like a radioactive signature. It's a chemical signature, but like, all of these sun strikes have been mostly recent, but there was one 50 years ago that coincided with the original disappearance of the sun. Go to this area, track it down. Obviously, as it stands now, we're not getting that third game until next year when we run it, and we write it. Heather, we're here for you. We will write this game.
Yeah.
We will do the game. But, like, it's still a really cool setup for a game that is, second installments in trilogies can be really hit or miss because they are a bridge. This game had so much substance and so much heart and so much love to it. I'm not mad about the fact that at the end you don't fight the big bad. It's okay that it's an interlude. Like, there was so much that happened here and so much character growth. It was really beautiful.
100% agreed.
Mass Effect 2 was the best game for a reason. Let's all admit it.
Listen, this is the Mass Effect 2 of games.
I agree with that too. I recently massed and Effect. Those games didn't really hit for me, but I will say I had the most fun with the second one. Yeah,
Mass Effect 2 is the best one. Yeah. Meatpunks is all good, and all of it is strangely enough, I'm looking here at the rankings of truth and beauty that Brian has given me as the arbiter of truth, and it says here that every Meatpunk game is better than every other video game that's ever been released. So shout outs to Heather.
That's crazy.
Interesting.
That's crazy. All right, any last thoughts on the beautiful story of Extreme Meatpunks Forever Bound by Ash before I go hog wild on this fucking heap of fraud meat?
Okay, here's my final thought.
Yes.
Thank God Meat Honey was in this and not in the Twilight Mirage.
Now the Twilight Mirage has calcium, but okay, Coughing Baby versus Hydrogen Bomb, which one would win, calcium or Meat Honey?
My final thoughts are, I really want an arm that is just eyes.
I think it'd be useful. Like, you're like, ooh, I'm a little scared. I don't know what's out there. Just stick your fucking arm. I will be returning to therapy to talk to a therapist about Sam Godkiller from fucking Meatpunks about my various issues. Alice, there is, I'm on the character select screen, and there's a task only you can do. I'm selecting your character. Alice, what is your mission?
You're hearing some really gross meat noises right now. Please put that over that in audio editing.
Meat noises.
We've got to rate these goddamn meat mechs.
Yes, we do. we have, and I'm willing to hear arguments for other things, but we definitely have Roots Among Ash, Sam's mech, Crash Queen, Liana's mech, Ultra Brad, the first iteration of Brad's mech, All or Nothing, the first iteration of Cass's mech, Ultralight Scavenger, the second iteration of Cass's mech, the Atlas, Infrabrad, Brad's second iteration. Are there any others we want to talk about? I almost added the Technofashes, because it's, like, bigger and wiggly, but, like, we can talk in general about enemies.
Yeah. I'll go first, and I just want to say I'm considering the Forest as a meat mech in this, being piloted by a symbiote. I do think that cool. Counts for me.
Yeah, all right. Accepted.
The mechs in this are great. Absolute upgrade from the first one. We actually see different designs. We didn't really get into it, but we kind of kept the standing man emoji for Sam, and the rest of them just are like really cool, unique. It just felt different. It felt nice. The things that it does, because when we score these things, we have to consider the other things we've scored. And I think what this does, specifically with Roots Among Ash in the narrative and the depth that we get of this, and then seeing the Meat Mech Factory, like, it's hitting everything I want. Like, I'm grossed by organic mechs, especially these meat mechs, in a way that's like, it is horror for me as a vegan to just hear these sounds. But it's so perfect. It's so good. Considering what I gave the first one, and that this is just an improvement on that, I'm going to give this an 8.
All right, Bri.
Sorry. I went and looked at my original score for the first game, which was a 5. I think I stand by that. I remember liking the way that game did mechs a lot, but just like the visuals and the controls and like all the interface with the mechs was like kind of meh. This is a improvement in like literally every way. Everything that happens here is so good. It hits it all. It hits scale. It hits like the narrative significance. I agree with Alice about the Meat Forest. I think that's. Well, I'm not saying I don't know if I would agree with the sentence. The Meat Forest is a mech. I agree that it's piloted, and I think that's interesting. I'm gonna give this a 7. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Like the others have said, this game took what I already really liked about the first game and then basically sanded off I don't want to use sanded because this game has no blunted edges. This game is like a lot of different, like very sharp, incisive ideas. This game took everything that I thought was a little rough in the first one and honed it and like really brought it to a shine. Something we didn't really talk about, there are incredible effects applied to the fight. So it's not just like a shower of cubes, you still have some of that effect. There's some like painted visual effects that happen on screen when you are attacking, when you're moving. There's so much love that's clearly been put into this combat, which was already fun, and it has now been like honed to like a really good combat. All of the meat mechs now have a visual identity. I love to see the different way they moved. I love the music that related to each of them. The change from All or Nothing to Ultralight Scavenger, just in terms of the theme, and like the addition of like synth arpeggios and shit like that, hit like a fucking brick. And my favorite thing in the world is mech so powerful it kills its pilot, which Atlas just hits out of the park, on top of being a conversation about gentrification, about environmental destruction, about exploitation, about all this, especially for this to be set basically in the Ozarks and stuff like that. I was thinking about, when they were talking about it was just blasting through mountains and rending open. I was thinking about open top coal mining, open pit coal mining. I was thinking about
strip
blasting
mining,
through mountains, strip mining. It was hitting all of that shit for me, and everything is still gross, and we got to see Brad have the ultimate mech engineer moment where it's like, I am surrounded by everything I could ever need to make the coolest mech in the fucking world. I'm gonna do it right now, while my boyfriend sits there and sweats because this is extremely hot of me to do. Like, games that make you want to sculpt, because I want a meat mech figure, and I'm afraid Bandai is not dropping. We can't hit the Nico metric of going to look for a kit, because I know Bandai does not have the juice to give me the meat mech kits.
Just go to the meat department at your local grocery store. What are you doing?
You know what? That's real. Games that make you want to go to the deli counter.
No, you need that raw dripping meat.
Yeah, this is honestly, this is like an 11 for me, but it is a 10 in the scale that matters. This it whips. It does everything I like. It even, again, introduced sapience and pilot picking, which is something I will have just discussed on our like Big O episode.
Mhm.
I love those ideas.
Our big episode.
Our Big episode.
Big
yes.
episode.
Also, Alice gave G Savior a 1. I just want to put that out there.
I can't believe you betrayed Mark Curran like that. Yeah, no, I mean, this is just doing all the shit I want to do, and it makes me want to go buy Sculpey. Like, what more is there to say? It whips. And,
Yeah.
But what I will say is that, like, Alice, you said, like, the most standing man emoji in this is Roots Among Ash. And for Roots Among Ash, we get a motherfucking, like, character story. Like, this game just, it's just going. I love it.
I'm thinking about asking Sasha, who is n13e86.bsky.social, and they do mech commissions, and they know how to sculpt. Thinking about asking what they think. I don't know how willing they would be to make a meat mech, but
They do such amazing
it's worth
work.
raising.
It's worth raising. I will say right now, you can't get anything shipped from where they are to us because we live in fucking Meat World. We live in the Hell Zone.
Fuck, because we live in a dystopia? God damn
Because
it.
we live in the United States rotated 90 degrees.
Yeah.
But you know what? I would love to see pics, and then hopefully in a better world that we'll fight for, we will receive the meat.
Yeah.
Yeah, with that, we're going to go to the break, and afterwards we're going to have a fun redux of a game and an interview and a bunch of good stuff.
Hey guys, Alice here. Thanks for listening to On the Shoulders of Giants. We're really happy you're here, but if you know anybody who might be interested, we'd love if you share our work with them. If you are enjoying what we're doing, maybe send us a message, or what would really help us out is if you leave a review online. Really, a lot of the algorithms will push people down if they don't have reviews, so it really helps if you just go and write something on the internet. Heck, we might even read one on the podcast if it's really nice and makes our hearts go doki doki. So if you could do that, maybe do it, and thanks again for listening. Now, back to the show.
So, everyone remembers the game that I ran previously for this game.
Oh, yes.
Unfortunately, yes.
Welcome back to an iconic OSG game world in Meat or Punk Bound by Nori. Last time, we were in a different world. One where we thought the Trump administration was behind us. Where we contemplated burgers. And where I tried to pretend I knew jack shit about classic punk. It's a different world now. The government is Trump again. I'm craving sushi, and I've also seen Fall Out Boy live this year. That's right. In this dark future, you will now be telling me whether a phrase that I give you is the name of a gimmick Maki roll or a pop punk album. So typical rules apply. We're going to alternate. First person gets to answer. If they get it wrong, you can steal. And for a bonus point, if you guess sushi, you can also guess how much it costs. If you're within $1 of the price, you get a bonus point.
Okay.
I'm not making the mistake I did last time. These are P&W prices, right?
Actually, these range across all of the beautiful Meat World.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
We go from coast to coast in Meat World, which I guess means from northern border to
Of
southern.
course, in Meat World, the Pacific Northwest is California.
All right, Alice. First item for sushi or pop punk album. Tastes like my ex-girlfriend.
Sushi.
Tastes Like My Ex-Girlfriend is brought to us by Gorilla Sushi of Las Vegas. This is correct. A roll with shrimp.
$11.
You do not get the bonus point. It's a roll with shrimp tempura, spicy tuna, baked scallop, eel sauce, and spicy mayo. It does cost $13.95.
Get it, guys? Because vaginas taste like fish.
Yeah.
We gotta abolish straight people.
Yeah.
Bri.
Yeah.
Never hungover again.
I don't really associate sushi with hangover food, so I'm going to say album.
That's correct. No bonus point on this one. Never Hungover Again is an album by Joyce Manor released in 2014. Alice, I Love My Ass.
Pop punk album.
Incorrect.
Oh!
Oh, yeah, I don't know why I said you could steal, because you can't steal if it's incorrect. But anyway, Brian, you can try it for the bonus point. The I Love My Ass is also from Gorilla Sushi of Las Vegas. It's a roll with spicy soft-shell crab, cucumber, spicy tuna, super white tuna, jalapeno, garlic ponzu, and hot sauce.
I'm so hungry.
Okay, I love this one. I want to eat this one.
How much do you think it costs for the I Love My Ass? How much is the I Love My Ass?
It's Alice's turn, right?
No, you
you're
get
stealing.
the bonus point because Alice got it wrong, so you get to try for the bonus point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm
No, you're
smart.
good.
Okay.
Rules unclear. Dick caught in ceiling fan.
I love my. That's a lot of ingredients. $15.95.
Incorrect. You can actually get this for the bargain price of $12.95.
Oh wow.
I don't
okay.
think you need to, but okay.
I think that roll sounds really good. I
It
don't like
does
the
sound
name.
pretty
It does.
Apparently,
It hurts
so
so
I did read about this on Reddit. Apparently, the servers are so over it, they just call it the ass roll. Like, they're so tired of having to say it, they just call it, you want ass? Okay. Anyway, I love to eat ass. Brian,
Same.
Yeah.
yours, the next one, Sushi or Pop Punk album, all killer, no filler.
That's a really good question. That could really be either, huh?
That's so good.
I'm gonna go with Sushi Roll.
Incorrect.
Damn.
This is the album All Killer No Filler, was an album by Sum 41, released in 2001.
We've got to make a pop punk themed sushi restaurant now.
I did have that thought, and the bonus question is a little sneak peek. It's gonna ask something of you in that vein. Alice, is this Sushi or Pop Punk album? You'll be fine.
Pop punk album.
Aha, okay. It is an album by Hot Mulligan, released in 2020.
I knew that one.
Hot Mulligan.
Wow. Well, at least you're not sweeping the fucking board the way you did with classic punk. You knew way too much about classic punk.
Pop punk is I need my chops better.
Yeah. Brian. Spider-Man 3.
Sushi Roll.
That is a sushi roll. This is from Kinji Sushi of San Jose. A roll with soft shell crab, avocado, eel, macadamia nut, and spicy mayo. How much do you think the Spider-Man 3 costs?
Oh God, I want sushi so bad. This game sucks.
I'm getting sushi today. It has to happen.
I'm thinking.
How much do you think Spider-Man 3 would run you these days?
I'm gonna do a tried and true strategy and say $15.95 again.
No.
Is that right?
That reaction.
That is to the cent correct. I'm giving you 2 points.
True.
You didn't even say like $15. You said $15.95. That is the price. If you go to Kinji Sushi of San Jose with that in your pocket, they will give you Spider-Man 3.
Oh my god, Spider-Man 3! $15.95.
Oh my god. All right, Alice.
I hate that the tried and true method works, by the way. I hate
It's so
that this
good.
keeps working for you.
It's so good. Alice, leche con carne.
Ew.
I need that to be a pop punk album and not a sushi roll, so pop punk.
That is correct. Leche con carne
God.
is an album by No Use for a Name that was released in 1995. Which to me predates pop punk, but it was on the list anyway. I got this from Rolling Stone's top 50 pop punk albums, so thank you to the journalist.
started
Rolling
in the
Stone
90s.
known for having the correct takes on all music for all time.
Yeah, they've never been wrong.
Yeah.
And definitely not done anything problematic.
All right, Bri. Yours is So Wrong It's Right.
So see, that is not a pop punk album. That's like an R&B album. So I'm gonna say Sushi Roll.
That's incorrect. That is a pop punk album. This
Damn.
is an album by All Time Low, released in 2007.
Oh, pop punk.
All right. Alice, 68, and I owe you one.
That is really good. I don't care what it is. That's a really good name for
The
anything.
joke is 69.
That's a good name for a mech.
That's a roll, I think. I feel like that's a Maki
Oh,
roll.
I'm writing that down for a mech name.
That is correct. This is from Sushi Loca in Las Vegas. Okay.
Las Vegas?
See, I made a bold claim at the top of this game that we were going from coast to coast, and I realized it's entirely California so far.
Yeah, where's the Midwest sushi?
Excuse me, can we talk about how Las Vegas seems to have a problem with naming their sushi?
Las Vegas apparently is like well known for having absolutely wild ingredients and wild names. Anyway, the 68 and I owe you one from Sushi Loca in Las Vegas is a roll with spicy tuna, cucumber, tomato, green onion, smelt eggs, and special sauce. Alice, how much do you think the 68 and I owe you one costs?
$11.99.
Incorrect. It is $14.95.
Jesus fucking Christ.
If you had gone with Brian's method, you would have got that one.
68 and I owe you one is going to be the name of my Meatpunks mech.
You're mad.
That's pretty good.
I'm kidding. All right, Bri. Second to last question here. Tastes like chicken. Is this a sushi roll or a pop punk album?
I think this is a pop punk album.
Incorrect.
Oh,
This
wow.
is a sushi roll. Alice,
I
for the
suck at
bonus
this.
point. The Tastes Like Chicken from Sushi Boss of Indianapolis. A roll with a soy wrap, roasted chicken, green onion, cream cheese, cucumber, sweet chili, and sesame seeds. How much does the Taste Like Chicken roll cost?
$9.99.
Huh?
$9.99.
Jesus Christ, you got it. It's $8.99. You actually got a bonus point. It's the cheapest roll on this menu because it's fucking chicken.
When I heard Indianapolis, I was like, Indianapolis sushi. Made with chicken? That's cheap.
All right.
I won't be remembering that information. I'm going to clear it from my mind. I'm manifesting this.
I've got a very special question here. It's going to make some demands of you. Alice, I think you can guess sort of. We're at the bonfire, and I'm asking you to guess narratively what you think is going to happen next. Alice, what kind of question do you think the next one is?
Meat noises.
Thank you so
That
much.
was us ripping out of the rib cage at the
to
end there.
get to the bonus question. All right, for
Yeah.
$1, name a woman. I mean, for a bonus point, name a Fall Out Boy song that would also be a great name for a sushi roll. I have 5 automatic winners. If you guess those, it will be correct, but this is a test both of your ability to name a sushi roll and your ability to remember the name of any Fall Out Boy song. You can chime in any order.
You're crashing, but you're no wave.
Pretty good, pretty good. Alice, do you have a contender?
I don't know if I remember the names of their songs.
We literally went to the Fall Out Boy live show that was like an entire career fucking retrospective together.
Well,
No,
I'm
don't
looking.
You cannot
Don't
do
you
that.
Google. That is against the rules. You have to remember that shit raw
No.
dog. Brian gets the point. All right.
The
You're
fuck?
crashing, but you're no wave. Pretty good name for CJ. Evokes the Ocean. I'll give it to you. My automatic wins. I went through the albums. These would have been automatic winners.
Oh, so you didn't remember all these by your memory? Interesting.
I have them all in my library,
Interesting.
you fake bitch. No, I'm kidding. Anyway.
Oh, can I look at my library? Because they're in my Spotify library.
You're
Automatic
not.
win.
You're not the test prompt. You're not the proctor.
You're right.
Automatic win from So Much for Stardust 2023 would have been Baby Annihilation.
Okay.
Automatic win from Mania 2018 would have been Bishop's Knife Trick.
Okay.
Automatic win from Folie à Deux 2008 would have been Headfirst Slide into Cooperstown on a Bad Bet, because if you name your sushi roll that, I have no idea what's in it, but I will order it.
Yeah.
Automatic win from Under the Cork Tree 2005 would have been Our Lawyer Made Us Change the Name of this song. I would have made it Our Lawyer Made Us Change the Name of this roll.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good.
And then the final automatic win, because it is a Maki roll, would have been from Take This to Your Grave 2003, Reinventing the Wheel to Run Myself Over. Because that's a funny thing to name a circular roll.
Interesting.
All right.
You just skipped Infinity on High, but whatever.
All of those titles were good, but not
yeah,
sushi.
that's fair. Yeah.
Not sushi. All right, let me calculate our score here.
Our meat score.
After looking at the numbers here, due to the especially strong guess on Spider-Man 3's price, Brian, you are a winner with 3 points up from Alice. Brian, you won. You're the king of sushi and or pop punk. You get to choose.
Thank you for the golf clap, Alice.
You can have pop punk. I'll keep true punk. Thank you.
Yeah, Alice just gave the wettest,
Savage.
dampest, limpest golf clap I've ever seen.
Well, with that, we're going to throw to an interview that Brian actually conducted with Heather Flowers, the one and only Heather Flowers, about this game design. I'm sure you cover a wide variety of topics because Brian is our journalist on the ground.
At one point, I straight up asked her a question about like society and humanity. It's like not appropriate. Yeah.
Exciting.
Just cover all of it. This is investigative journalism, baby. What's your favorite mech? How do you feel America has failed you?
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about like your history with game development, like where, like how we get here, how you would say like your priorities have evolved, that kind of thing.
Yeah, totally. So I started with game development as a teenager. in the very classic a teenager who doesn't really know what they're doing kind of way of like, you know, taking a Java course on the internet and thinking, oh, I could hypothetically make a little RPG in a console because that's the only thing I've been taught how to do console ins and outs. And so I made a little like Pokemon style game that is literally just like a single battle where you only have 3 attacks and those attacks don't really do anything effective.
Right.
You know, very classic starting point. From there, I ended up going to school for game design, which, I mean, was hugely formative. I actually made the first season of Meatpunks while I was enrolled in school, and then the second season I did all the planning for while in my senior year of school, and then I graduated and made season 2 of Meatpunks.
Okay.
So I started very early, and I, like, as soon as I was given the proper tools for proper game design, I basically just started doing it and literally never stopped. Like, I was doing, you know, game design schoolwork at the same time as I was making a bunch of independent games just by myself in my room, working late into the night because there's something wrong with me. I think I would consider my first game engine to be Spore Galactic Adventures, now that I come to think of it.
Okay.
Which, if you've ever played that, is sort of, you know, the game Spore.
Yeah.
They've released this DLC that essentially gives you access to this sort of planet builder where you can sort of put together little quests and adventures.
Oh.
And then other people can sort of have their characters beam down to those adventures Star Trek style and sort of go through them. It was very poorly balanced because you had no way of knowing what people were going to be going in with. Like, if you make an adventure that requires that somebody has 2 hands and then somebody else comes in with a character that doesn't have 2 hands, you've just fucked yourself.
Right.
And there's no way to really set restrictions. So I made a bunch of terrible horror games as like an 11, 12, 13-year-old in that.
That's a fascinating way to cut your teeth, though. Just like on something that I feel like the whole Spore sort of franchise in itself, and also launched a sort of subgenre about like this, come and make something weird, you know?
Yeah.
So that's I think that I wouldn't say I'm like a determinist in that like your starting point is going to echo through your whole career, like no matter what you're doing. But I think that that's an interesting thing to think about when it comes to like, you're clearly not afraid to do a weird thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, and I do think there is some truth that the media you grow up with is something that you sort of think about for the rest of your life. And what I grew up with is Flash games.
Okay,
like,
yeah.
I grew up playing weird little Flash games that I found on Newgrounds and Congregate and stuff like that. Like, my core experience, especially when I started working with roguelikes a few years ago, was like growing up with The Binding of Isaac and Risk of Rain and stuff like that.
Yes, yeah.
And sort of that sort of core Flash and post-Flash era.
We have like you kind of gave us a little bit of a timeline on both seasons of the game, but to kind of narrow it down a little bit, like what is the, because I feel like, so when I interviewed John over at Space Colony on making Gundog, like the way that like, and that was obviously a game made by like a team, but like the way it came together was just kind of serendipitous and just like, hey, do you want to make a game? Yes. Oh, it worked out really, really well. What was like the way that all of the different like contributors came together for both of these?
So Meatpunks Season 1 was a sort of smallish group of contributors. It was me, Josie Breckner on music, Amy Zhang on character art, and then a few friends of mine doing sort of bits and pieces on the side.
Okay.
Like something that I was very interested from the get-go was sort of a heterogeny of visual aesthetics, which is why, you know, it's visual novel sprites on an ASCII art background, and the mech fight sequences look bad. I made all the art for those, I'm allowed to say that.
Okay, yeah.
But that's why, you know, we have like an entire animated ending sequence with a completely different art style and stuff like that. Because I just got a bunch of friends together and we just made something way overambitious together. So Meatpunks Season 1 came together over the course of about 9-ish months, I think.
Okay.
From the beginning to the launch of episode 6. And then Season 2 was about a year and a half, I think. Kickstarter launched in August or September of 2019, and then came out in October of 2020.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then, I mean, in the second season, there was also just a bunch more contribution in terms of just volume of people. Like we've had Iris J on the show very recently.
Oh, Iris J's awesome.
Yeah, and it was like a week after recording a Ghost in the Shell episode with her, I was playing season 2, and the title card that you commissioned from her came up, and I messaged her immediately, and I was like, "You contributed to Meatpunks? I'm literally doing this right now."
Yeah, I mean, the people who worked on Meatpunks, I swear, they've gone on to do everything.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Yeah, there's fucking Iris J, there's Dave Makes, who went on to make Mixolumia. That was not Dave's first claim to fame, but I'm claiming them as part of the Meatpunks,
yeah,
diaspora.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's really cool. What were some of the favorite things that you mentioned this already, but season 1 was kind of one of your first fully formed games. And so what were some of the things that doing that taught you that allowed you to kind of do season 2 and make it a little bit more polished or expedite some things?
Oh, I learned a ton from season 1.
Mm-hmm.
So I had very little writing experience before starting season 1. I think the only thing that I had ever really written was a couple smaller bits in Gendirect, which was a visual novel that I had done previously that year with Ryan Nurse ACI, who did the majority of the writing. And I still love that game. I think that game's great. It is on the cover of a book, which I think is cool. The Queer Games Avant-Garde by Bo Ruberg, I believe.
Okay. Shout outs.
Good book. Shout outs. But I think I learned a lot about writing through writing, and I learned a lot about how people would react to the game, and what people wanted to see in a sequel. Now, I think doing a sequel to begin with was kind of a bad idea from a sales standpoint, but I do love it as a work of art in and of itself.
Okay.
Fundamentally, people don't buy sequels of indie games. This is a known fact. I thought I could beat the odds, and then I didn't, which is kind of why there hasn't been a Meatpunk Season 3, but we'll get into that in time.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That's unfortunate because I think that I mean, we did a Season 1 episode way back in the day. That's one of our first 15 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked that game. I'm sad to hear that season 2 didn't perform as well because I think that it does everything the first game does. It's obviously, like you said, it's just literally an evolution, and
yeah,
I think that that's really, really valuable to look at. I had a really, really good time with season 2. I try not to come on here and just compliment people, but it ends up happening anyway because we only talk about stuff we want to talk about already on this show. So anyway.
I was going to say, I think one of the other lessons that I learned is also what I'm not good at. At the time, I just was not great at making combat, as I sort of alluded to earlier. I think season 1 is good, but I think its combat kind of drags it down at points. And so getting to get such a fabulous combat designer in Colin Horgan, who, went on to make Luca Born of a Dream, or no, Luca happened before season 2, but I'm taking credit for it anyways.
Okay.
But getting them to come on and really completely redo the combat from the ground up in order to make it much meatier and juicier, I think was a really solid thing to do.
Okay, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, because you would the games you would go on to make aren't so much about, or actually I would say aren't at all about bashing each other on a battlefield or anything. So I guess that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, the games that I would go on to make, Snake Farm and Fish Fear Me, which I imagine we're probably going to be talking about in a little bit, they do have a lot of combat in them, but it's very different.
Yes.
On a fundamental level.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to play Fish Fear Me. I do really like Snake Farm, and and that's basically those are when I think of those. You mentioned having a heterogeneous sort of art style purposefully in season 1 of Meatpunks, and I have really enjoyed that we've been able to see just a very different sort of aesthetic come out of all of the different entries I think in your oeuvre. But what are some of the things that again season 2 taught you that you'd carry forward to those new games, such as having a different kind of combat?
Yeah, having a different kind of combat. Well, I mean, that was less of a lesson and more just different games require different things.
Sure.
Snake Farm and Fish Fear Me are both taking very heavily from the Vampire Survivors school of combat design, which is much less about individual impactful shots and is much more about creating a cacophony of various effects that all sort of build on one another.
Yes.
So I would say I learned a lot about that. There's an interesting through line in the world building between the two of them. Like, I didn't really intend when I was making Snake Farm for it to be its own sort of cinematic universe the way that Meatpunks is. But now we're 3 games deep in that series, and it kind of is. It's really funny on the trailer for Unfair Flips, which does exist in the same universe as the other two. There are several people who were commenting, like, clearly don't know me or my name or anything about me, but do know the character of Goose and are excited to see him again.
Oh, that's interesting. What a peculiar phenomenon. I like that you never really know when you set out to like make a thing. You can decide at the time whether or not it's going to be standalone, but like you really have no idea what's going to come down the road next and like what kind of connections your brain is going to make that you're just not going to be able to drop when it comes to like not even just narrative, but just like general like thematic throughput, you know?
Exactly, yeah.
Speaking of thematic throughput, to speak a little bit more specifically on Meatpunk Season 2 and like the idea of having sort of consistent characters through multiple iterations of something, I'm wondering about the process of like charting out all the different potential trajectories. Full disclosure, I did only do one playthrough of Season 2.
Gasp.
But I'm not exactly super clear on what like how catastrophic the differences can be based on like the decisions you make. But there are, I mean, just like with most visual novels, like there are different things that you will miss and see and not know about depending on what like you decide to do with it. Does it all just come together for you? Are you like a flowchart person, or is it like a Mass Effect thing where it's like I don't think you had to do a Mass Effect thing where it's like the decisions made in Season 1 had to be carried over to 2 and you had to like do a big thing with that. Am I correct?
No, that is true. Like,
yeah,
the decisions you make in Season 1 do change what happens in Season 2 to a certain extent.
Okay.
Like,
oh yeah, that's right. That's why it asks you about it. That's correct. Okay.
Yeah, it asks you about it. It asks sort of like, hey, what information did you learn? Who docked to who? Did you kill the final boss? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And none of this really has like major effects on what happens in Season 2, but it does change, several random encounters that happen. Notably, if you don't kill the final boss in Season 1, then you get another chance to do so in Season 2, Episode 2. But I think it does sort of come together. Like, I was practicing what I was calling braided storytelling at the time, which is very specifically giving players a set of options for what parts of the story to look at, and all of the story progresses nonetheless. And essentially, part of that was to get people to, encourage them to talk about the game with other people. Say, oh, yes, I got this conversation. Did you get that conversation? And then you sort of talk about it together, which I hope there was some, discussion of as, you go through your adventures together with other people. But I do have a general idea of what happens in each scene. It's just that a lot of the time along the way, I sort of find new delights that I want to focus on instead. Like with Season 1, the character of Emily was a really standout one who I hadn't really intended to exist in the story at all. It's just, the blood station sort of came up as an idea, and then I thought, well, somebody needs to work there. And then I just had so much fun writing this weird little eldritch teenager.
Yeah.
That she sort of became a major character in Season 1 and then later on in Season 2.
That's excellent. Yeah, I would be shocked to hear if she's not a fan favorite. I'm pretty sure at least our Season 1 coverage, we gave her a lot of compliment in terms of just being kind of an icon, along with that former cultist guy that joins you for a little bit. I forgot his name.
Oh yeah, Ed.
Yeah. But that's part of what I think. Even if you're not like a big flowchart person who's like having to do like graphical calculations, the shape of these narratives ends up giving it that appearance, especially if you have strong characters, which I think is fun.
Yeah.
But I guess to get a little darker, there's a significant preoccupation that both Meatpunks games have with like different abilities or lack thereof to like articulate and cope with mental illness, like different ways people externalize or the different ways that they can cover their tracks or miserably fail to, as is often the case in Season 2. These are things I think we spend our whole lives ruminating on, but like I was wondering if there are any lingering concepts with the way it gets externalized in Meatpunks with things like Sam's ghost figure that you'd want to explore someday. Like when I wrote this question, I wasn't necessarily thinking about season 3, but I guess that's kind of the obvious sort of like through line on that question. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's a really good question. I mean, mental health as a topic is something that I think everybody can delve into indefinitely. I think basically every character in Meatpunks is sort of in conversation with at least one part of my brain.
Okay.
For example, you brought up Sam's Slenderman ghost, Astra. And like the whole thing with devils is that they are sort of a personification of negative intrusive thoughts, of like this force inside you that wants you to do terrible things, and in doing so wants you to hate yourself for the thing that it wants you to think that you want to do. Which, you know, is a twisty little bit of logic that doesn't entirely make sense when you speak it out loud, but it does feel very instinctively bad. And so, you know, these issues of that, of not feeling like you're good enough, of feeling like you've, I don't know, fucked up irrevocably in some way, these are things that I think just are part of life and are part of like, you know, like learning to deal with them and learning to live with them, I think is an important part of growing up. And so I think a lot of my stories are always going to be a little bit about mental health, but I think overall what it's really about is the ways that we try and often fail to love one another and ourselves. Like that's what season 2 is really about. It is about a group of people who cares very deeply about one another, and oftentimes the way that they care forces them into worse situations than if they had stronger coping mechanisms, stronger communication, etc.
Right.
But the ways that they fail is interesting, and it's fun, and it's messy, and because of the fact that it's a story, that means that we can enjoy the messiness without having to be hurt by it.
Yeah, and I think in another thing that is in the conversation about mental health and mental illness in like the last 10 years or so is how physical it can be, and the timeline doesn't super match up on the production of these games for it to have been like super intentional, but I think it's interesting that we have this like really gross story about like gross things happening with bodies that directly map to like the psychological things that are going on. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure that I do know what you mean.
The idea of like the difficulty of putting your neck on the neck spike, at least like there's a couple scenes with Brad, for example, like the difficulty of doing that maps directly to what is happening with him in the story.
Oh yeah, totally.
And so it manages to like bridge the gap between, like I said, there's a lot of gross stuff going on, both like physically in the world and also in your head, you know?
Yeah. Which, you know, is entirely intentional. The mechs are a metaphor.
Yeah, and as they should be. What about like touch points when it comes to stuff like the mechs? I don't know that I've gotten. I don't know much about like your experience with the mecha genre.
So I actually have very little experience with the mecha genre. This is a minor shame point of mine. I was in my very early 20s when I made Meatpunks, and so I experienced a decent amount of genre hubris of thinking, well, okay, I can come in and say something new in this field that I know very little about. I'm sure that I've got this. And you know what? I think I did some okay things.
Yeah, I would say I would. Yeah, and we talked about this probably in the season 1 episode 2, but like the idea of a meat mech is I feel still kind of an underexplored space just broadly in the genre. So just that alone, I think you did a fine job with.
Fair, thank you very much.
Yeah. So not many like direct mecha inspirations, but like what are some of the things? One of the things I found striking about season 2 is that you get a little bit more types of gameplay. There's not much walking around in season 1, but we get a lot of that in season 2. And I was kind of curious about like, was that just kind of a textural thing, or did you have a specific inspiration for that?
So I had a lot of very specific inspirations for Meatpunks season 2. I think part of it was just wanting to have a more experimental set of gameplay interactions, just because, you know, we had a significantly higher budget and I wanted to spend it on things that would be interesting to play through. But specifically, the walking around section and the Guitar Hero section were very strongly inspired by Night in the Woods.
Okay.
Specifically in the sense of the way that you move through the world in that game and you sort of see the same people across a set of times. In Night in the Woods, it's across several days, and this, it's across the course of a single day, but you sort of get to experience the same points through the point of view of different characters as your party composition changes.
Yeah.
So that was interesting to me. And another big inspiration is Kentucky Route Zero, which, for those of you who haven't played it, is a sort of narrative game that's a sort of magical realist narrative about this magical highway that's underneath Kentucky that sort of starts off as an adventure game sent up, but then very quickly changes into something much stranger. And so, the scene in season 2, episode 3, where Liana's mom is sort of singing her a song, is sort of very specifically referencing the Too Late to Love You section in Act 3 of Kentucky Route Zero. But at the same time, we wanted to do something more personal to the characters and to that moment, which is why the song On Our Way is very specifically about Liana's place in her life and sort of these hopes for what the future might contain in this hypothetical revolution that she is working towards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's interesting. I love the idea of like pulling. I think that sometimes when people do like talk about media, they talk about like the idea of pulling from other things in a negative light, and I think that is broadly a mistake. Like I think originality is something that's fun to chase, but is kind of impossible, and it's fun to see where people get like their ideas and how they make them their own.
Yeah, like sometimes you see something that just blows your shit wide open, and then you have to spend the rest of your life chasing that.
Yes, exactly. So again, there's not like a like we said, there may be you might not have like a specific good mecha fight touchstone. If you do, let me know. But I think the second part of this next thing still applies here, which is like, what is your opinion on spectacle? And so I'm going to say spectacle versus rhetoric in terms of what it takes to tell us like a successful action story. And what I mean by that is like there's a difference in the way that like John Woo does action versus the way like a Marvel movie does action. A Marvel movie, the plot is incidental to putting the characters in this position that they need to fight each other, versus the fighting being a culmination of different characterological things. And I don't know that I would go so far as to say that to say where Meatpunks lands on that scale, but I don't know if you have an opinion on which of those is more successful for you.
Oh, I absolutely have an opinion on that.
Okay.
So there's this classic adage in musicals, which is that characters sing when they can no longer talk.
Okay.
And I think in this case, characters fight when they can no longer talk. Like when there is no logical way to continue a conversation without violence. Violence being the thing that allows various characters to prove their theories either through, saying this is the way I'm going to do things, and if I win, that means that I'm right, or I don't care whether you're right or not, I'm just going to shut you up. Either way, the conflict is about a conflict of morality, a conflict of politics, a conflict of emotions. And I think sometimes in season 2, we really get into that with stuff like the fight between Sam and Jason.
Totally. That's what I was just thinking of. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is really a combination of their relationship, and it's of Sam saying, I'm actually better off without you, and like saying, all right, fuck you, actually, let's just get this over with now. And I also think like there is some room for spectacle in there. Like I'm still very happy with the fight in Meatpunks season 2, episode 6, where you fight on top of a mech while in a mech. I just thought that was really fun and badass, which is why it happens.
Yes,
I thought it was
absolutely. Yeah, I also just to speak of the Jason fight. So I don't know. I lost that fight pretty brutally, and so like I imagine that changes the conversation slightly, but I like that the theme stays the same when it comes to Sam's character. This is an assumption. I obviously didn't go back and win or anything, but I think you're right. I think it's satisfying to have the fighting when you can't speak anymore as a substrate to put the spectacle on top of.
Yeah.
Semi-relevant. I think this game has a lot to say about community and like the line between being insular and fearful or being warm and accepting. To you, especially as the word community grows to be more and more online, what are the ingredients to making a community strong and stable without being like kind of aggressively insular or paranoid?
That is a question that I don't know the answer to.
Yeah, that's super fair. I think it's a very speculative thing.
Yeah, I think part of making art about communities is trying to do experiments on characters, you know? Like saying, okay, what happens if we have these kinds of people in this situation? What's going to happen? And I think if I knew how to make a functional community, I wouldn't be writing so much about dysfunctional people.
Okay, yeah, I can kind of see that. Yeah. The reason I asked is I mean, obviously the season 2 kind of being, I guess, like mostly about Devil's Teeth, or at least mostly Devil's Teeth is just there, and that's like the setting, and so it has to be sort of suffused.
It is sort of the core.
Yeah.
It's in every episode but the first one.
I thought there was sort of an interesting parallel happening with like what ends up happening with that town and how people react to you versus like the stuff that was going on, again, going back to the Jason fight, where it's like part of what's going on with the politics of the game in that moment is like right before that fight, we come around the bend on him wanting to just talk and do marketplace of ideas stuff with fascists, and about how like there's a line where you just can't do that anymore, right?
Yeah.
And so like I thought that stuff folded really well into at least the game asking that question, and so I kind of wanted to bring it up as in a speculative mode here.
That makes total sense. Yeah. I mean, I think of art sort of like a mirror, right? Where it shows you what you think in a variety of angles. Sometimes it twists it a little bit, sometimes it turns it a different color, but it's always you interacting with your own ideas. So I hope somebody played it and had a good idea, but I don't know what that good idea is.
I love that statement just for any dev to say at all is, I hope people played this game and had a thought about it. That's really the goal. I would want that to be the goal.
Yeah.
And then I guess just to kind of get there, I'm not someone who thinks that like people are beholden to sequels upon sequels at all. So like if this is just something we drop, then that's totally fine. But like, what is the general vibe on season 3?
That is a really good question. And that's something that I'm happy to talk about. Like, the truth is season 3 isn't happening.
Okay.
And it's not because I don't love the story, and it's not because I don't love the world. It's the fact that I am a different person from when I first started making Meatpunks. Like, I started almost a decade ago.
Yeah.
And I have changed remarkably during that time, and the things that interest me in art are different worlds from that. Like, I still hold a great deal of fondness for Meat World. Don't get me wrong. Like, I made 2 games and a tabletop game about it. Like, you don't do that unless you love it.
Sure.
And if there were, I don't know, if there were some grand upswell of people begging for season 3, then I could see that being something that hypothetically happens at some point in the future. But for now, that upswell hasn't really been happening. And I have plenty of other art to focus on in the meantime. Like,
yeah, it seems like you've been up to quite a lot.
Yes, I have. I have multiple releases happening. I know this podcast is releasing in the future, so this will be in the past, and you'll get to laugh at how, well this went or how poorly this went, because I don't really know which it's going to be right now, but I have 5 different events happening next Thursday.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At time of recording, which are a new expansion to Fish Fear Me and Unfair Flips, which is sort of a game about flipping a coin over and over again, which people are categorically insane about in a way that mildly terrifies me. And the Fish Fear Me soundtrack, which isn't really quote unquote my release. That's Josie's release, but I'm supporting her anyways because she's a fantastic musician and I want to work with her on everything.
Yeah.
And a secret 4th thing and a secret 5th thing.
Okay. I love secrets. That's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of why I like sort of had it. I like this because I would rather you be beholden to like the artistic whims that are organic from you and not just sort of like we talked about this on our Metal Gear coverage, which is like Kojima like repeatedly tried to leave the project and audience backlash and Konami kind of being a AAA game studio. Was sort of worked in antithesis to that, and I genuinely think the series suffers because of that.
Yeah.
So I would rather it be genuine than just sort of be driven by like we set things up and then a decade later, no, good,
Yeah, like I can't say that I'll never go back to Meat World because I think it's a really compelling location.
Yes.
But if I do go back, it's not going to be the same story and it's not necessarily going to be the same characters.
That makes perfect sense to me. Well, I ask everyone who comes on the show what their favorite mech is.
Oh yeah, I got an answer for this.
Oh, you do? Okay, perfect.
Yeah, let me pull up. So when I was a kid, I played a lot of RTS games very badly.
Love that.
I mostly played them as city builders, and then every now and then somebody attacked me or I attacked somebody else. But one that has always stuck out to me is the game Empire Earth, which is sort of one of those like Age of Empires clones where you are sort of building a civilization across thousands of years and attacking other civilizations across thousands of years. And it has this future section, which it has sort of this animated opening to the game that sort of goes through the dawn of time and the Stone Age and the pirate ship captains and yada, yada, yada. And it has this section where it goes into the future, and it has this one mech design that has just been embedded in my brain for decades at this point.
Oh, look at this freak.
Yeah, it has a big mouth painted on its front and a big eyeball in that mouth.
Yeah.
And I think that's very formative for me and my artistic career.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, this thing is awesome. Well, that is pretty much all I had. Do you have anything? I know you said that there were secrets, and we kind of did already talk about what you're up to, but is there anything specific you want to promote? I know you kind of want to get off social media, so is there like an alternative way people can find you?
Yes, there is actually. I have a newsletter, which I've been, cultivating and continuing to try to use more and more because it's the time of emails. Social media is dying. It's dying every day. The only thing that will ever save us is a good email server. So you can go to heather.flowers. That's https://heather.flowers or buttondown.com/HTHR.
Okay.
Both of which will link directly to my newsletter, which I will be, giving updates on my various things, giving musings, maybe making bad posts now and then. And yeah.
Yeah, it's I completely agree with you on all of the things you just said about social media. It is and I did sign up for the newsletter. I will say you are an all-time poster. And I do think I do think the social media landscape will suffer without your all-time posting.
Well, thank you. Yeah, where else are we going to get posts like, God, what the fuck was I posting last night? I was posting some real dog shit.
You were posting, I know there was one chain that I saw where you were like, okay, I'm going to do a bunch of fake announcements.
Yeah. Meatpunks Season 3 is coming out in 5 minutes on the dark web only, paid in Bitcoin, Brad, Ultra Brad, and Smash.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
It was great talking to you.
All right, and that's this episode of On the Shoulders of Giants, where we discussed Extreme Meatpunks Forever, Bound by Ash. Any parting thoughts, gang? Oh, sorry. My very brave spouse can hear me through the wall and just messaged me to say that their pick for the Fall Out Boy sushi roll would have been head first slide into Cooperstown on a bad bet. So
okay. Perfect.
That's why we're soulmates. Anyway, any parting thoughts, gang?
Being anti-fascist isn't a specific ideology. It's about having empathy for others, loving each other, and connecting with your community. When you listen to this podcast and engage in a critical way with thought, you are being an anti-fascist right now. And we just need to continue that energy. And I thank you all for being allies in our fight against fash. Thank you, listeners.
Bri?
Yo, what she said.
I will apply the ditto times 3 rare maneuver. Thanks for listening. Pilots, remember, you can reach out for advice from the team at our email, questions@osgpod.com, and non-pilots can send general questions or feedback to the same address. You can catch up with us on social media. The links are in the description for updates and more. You'll also find a link to the show Discord there. Come hang out. Make sure to check back in 2 weeks where we will be discussing The Big O, Part 2. Goodbye. I love you.
Layer meat sounds over this. Goodbye. I love you.
Oh, okay, bye, goodbye, I love you. I have to find meat sounds now.